Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon, so a massive shout out of thanks and appreciation to Mel B. Styles, Troy Shuker, Bose Nail, Joseph Pizarro, Samson, Maris, Mobile Max 777, Neo the One, Rob W, Open Minded, Reese Pound, Del West Watson, Mike, Muted, Dick Earth Skeptic, NA Literalist, Maria Neelands, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Rob H, The Real Gabster, Windrider, Liam Nedrick, Abraham Mohammed, Naibai, Adrian Quintana, Skeptic 936, Life is Short, Fireball X, TheFlatEarthChannel.com, Texas Mike, Edwin Johnson, Kirsten Smith, and David Wayne Foster. So another huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Also, linked below this video, there is a link to get £50 back for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. With that, I'm going to hand over to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their conversation while I set up for today's live show.
I said, did you hear about the 7 minutes of terror?
No, what is the 7 minutes of terror?
NASA, they're shooting a rover up to Mars, and the last 7 minutes, they can't even get any signals back, so the rover's going to be on its own, landing in a crater. Space is real.
What a crock.
So let me just get this straight. When this is going on, it's going to be all CGI?
Yes, Neil.
So they're just, but they say it's real?
Yes, Neil. Right.
How do people believe it, though?
They're told it's real. Or they're not explicitly told it's not real, to be more accurate. There's no disclaimer at the beginning of Star Trek either to say it isn't. But it's not like they start a newsreel and say, by the way, some of this stuff might be true, some of it might not be. Some of it we're completely made up, some of it's part of government propaganda. They don't give you any of those disclaimers. Likewise, you watch Star Trek and they don't say, this is all fictional. You know, they don't do any of that.
Well, actually, William Shatner did say it's all science fiction. He was talking about science itself in space, I think.
I think to translate what he was attempting to say was that the pseudoscience punted as science is actually science fiction.
Yes, you heard that, right? I'm not alone in this.
No. He was asked what the difference between science fiction and science fact was, and he said there wasn't one. They were the same thing.
Correct.
Well, no. Science is a method to empirically validate the cause of an effect through systematic experimentation based on a hypothesis. Well, that's not what he's talking about when he says science. He's talking about NASA. He's talking about space travel. He's talking about all the things he's been associated with in his acting career that directly translate into lies about our reality. Now, he may or may not be aware of that, and I don't care. But what he's saying is, well, the two are the same. Well, yeah, that's because they are.
Correct. I meant correct. That's what he said.
Hey Nathan, hey everyone.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
I can't do another
Hey, Nick.
fight today?
if he's rubbed you up the wrong way, that's just your bag, you know.
There was no fight at all. Brian, like I said, he saw it coming from the get-go.
Yeah, I don't have much tolerance with people like that, I'll be honest. When someone won't give you a straight answer straight away, they're just messing you around.
Nathan?
Hey, it's like the Godfather. Can't you give me a straight answer anymore? What's it about?
Yeah.
Hey, Nathan, I've got a little present to pile on the globe on the celestial navigation. All the slides are there. Let me know when you have it, if it's okay with you.
The first one being a picture of the sextant and then 2 depictions of a globe, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Shall I
on.
begin?
It's on. It's ready when you are.
All right, we're going to take the topic of a term in celestial navigation called circle of equal altitude. As you can see in this picture, the top left-hand part, you see a presupposed globe. The zenith position of a star or sun is also called a subpoint. It's in the middle of this circle, and the navigator who's using the sextant will be somewhere on the circle. And the reason it's called the circle of equal altitude is because no matter where you are, once you take a sighting, you have to draw a circle. And you're somewhere on that because in the middle is the subpoint or the zenith position over the Earth, the geographical position of the star. So the equal distance is from anywhere on that circle to that hotspot or zenith position or the GP of the star. And you see in the depiction below, when you take 2 readings of 2 different stars, you get closer to what part of the circle you're on. It would be one of those 2 crossing points. But keep in mind, circle of equal altitude. Next slide. So let's just draw it out. So if I have that yellow line as being the zenith position of the sun, say, for example, and it's where the geographical position over the Earth is at 12 noon. For most of us, we refer to it as that, but directly overhead. And if I take a sighting and I'm 50 degrees away from it, I have to draw a circle around it. Now, what do you see obvious about this drawing here? 2 straight lines create an angle, and it's 50 degrees anywhere on that circle. Next slide. Circle of equal altitude. A circle on the surface of the Earth on every point of which the altitude of a given celestial body is the same at a given instant. So it's telling you right there. A circle on the surface of the Earth on every point of which the altitude of a given celestial body is the same at a given instant. The pole of the circle is the geographical position of the body, and the great circle distance from the pole to the circle is the zenith distance of the body. Next slide. Circle of equal altitude, a circle on the surface of the Earth having as its center the substellar points of given celestial body, zenith position basically, from any point on or above the circumference of which the angular altitude of the body is the same. Did you catch that? The angular altitude of the body is the same, also called a circle of position. Next slide. So let's look at it. Here's an example, circle of equal altitude. Same thing, a star or sun, geographical position directly underneath it, the zenith, and all the angles are the same. And as you can see here, it says 60 degrees. So it'd have to be 2 straight lines. There's your horizontal plane, and then you with the sextant finding the angle. The next slide. Circle of altitude. A circle parallel to the what? To the horizon, having its pole in the zenith. An almucantar. Next slide. Circle of position, an imaginary small circle on the Earth's surface on which an observer is located, and that is centered on the substellar point of the particular star, zenith position, basically. Its radius is equal to the zenith distance of the star. The star will thus have the same zenith distance from every point on the circle of position. Every point on the circle. So that's a flat plane to get your two straight lines to get your angle. Next slide. Al Mukanter. In astronomy, a circle on the celestial sphere parallel to the horizontal plane. Parallel horizontal plane. Only way you can get an angle. Next slide. Al Mukanter, a circle on the celestial sphere that is parallel to the horizontal plane. Next slide. A depiction of how to get an angle. If a star's above you, to the far right, you see an image of a person with a red line coming out of his right hand to the star right above him. 90 degrees. How do you get it? Look at his other hand. You need an angle, you need a corner, you need a vertex. Let's go to the middle one. Now he's 45 degrees away from that same star. The right hand is pointing at the star, and the left hand has to be at the horizon to create a corner to achieve a vertex to get 45 degrees. And if he's at the equator, the star would be like a setting sun, basically, right in line with the horizon. So that's 0. This is how you get angles. Next slide. So let's go back to the circle of equal altitude. If the sun is over a particular geographical position on the Earth, and you sight it with a sextant, and it says 50 degrees, all those lines have to be on that circle equal distance, parallel, flat, to get that angle of 50 degrees. Next slide. An image of how to get a fix. So you're somewhere in the ocean. Your GP1 is your first sighting, the red line on the left. So the sun, say in this case, is right there where it says geographical position 1. So you're somewhere on that red circle, you just don't know where, but it's all the same angle to GP1. So you shoot another star, GP2, geographical position of the second star. Draw a circle around it. The two circles cross over. Now you're either at position 1 at the bottom of the first crossover or the position 2, the second crossover on the top. Well, if you want to know for sure, just sight another luminary in the sky. Do the same thing with the sextant. That's that blue or purple line, GP3. Now, when you draw that circle, wherever that crosses, that's where your fix is. Next slide. This is very good. In this illustration, you are somewhere on the circle of equal altitude around the geographical position of the object. But where? The circle could be thousands of miles in circumference. Did you hear that? Thousands of miles in circumference. The answer is simple. Measure the altitude of 2 or more celestial bodies where the 3 circles of equal altitude intersect is your location on the globe or presupposed globe. But notice the picture. Notice how from the edge of the circle, that's a horizontal line, horizon parallel, and to the GP coming straight down. The only way to get an angle. Thousands of miles, parallel, horizon. Next slide. How the sextant cannot work. So here you are in the presupposed globe. There's the sun's geographical position, the 90 degrees zenith position of it. You're in that sailboat on the curve of the supposed arc of this globe that we live on. You can't achieve the angle. You don't have a straight line to the GP. So none of this can work on the arc curved surface. Next slide. How the sextant cannot work. This time I've put the plane that they always use, the tangent plane. Oh, but if we have that circle of equal altitude, that distance, and it's flat, and we can draw that straight line, you can achieve a corner. And so they use this little trick of a tangent plane, but it doesn't work because they say the sailboat's over the arc and you got to get it from there rather than from two straight lines. Next slide. So let's get rid of the globe and just say how a sextant does work. You need two straight lines as depicted here. Sailboat could be anywhere. And each sailboat will draw a circle around that sun's GP. One is 60 degrees away, one is 45 degrees away, one is 30 degrees away. Thousands of miles of flat plane. This is how it works. Can't work on a globe. Next slide. Here's a depiction of their globe doing exactly what I said they do. They draw that straight line, but they do many things wrong here. Polaris up there to the far right is at 90-degree GP. Why is the guy at 40 aiming straight up rather than an angle of 40 to Polaris? How about the guy at the far left at the equator where it says 0? How come that's going straight up as a plane? Rather, that green line to Polaris is pointing at the zenith position of Polaris where it's not. It's supposed to be there to the far right. But then they put in this little black and white. How can you have 90 degrees like that now that you understand circle of equal altitude? This is a fraudulent slide right here. Next slide. Back to the image. To achieve an angle, you got to have two straight lines that have a point, that meet at a point. That's a corner. That's your angle. That's your vertex. Next slide. Wrapping it up. This is how it works. Anywhere on that circle is the same degrees, which means you have straight line to it. And that circle could be thousands and thousands of miles. Next slide. To Polaris. This is how it works on a globe. Don't fall for it. This is nonsense here. All those red arrows need to be pointing to the Polaris, not straight up. I gave you two of those, so skip the next one. So real world, sun above the flat Earth, Eratosthenes' mistake, sun rays come in parallel, which we know they don't. It works this way on the flat plane with the angles being achieved by two straight lines meeting in a corner called the vertex. And the last slide, the light come in at funny angles. Look at this. You see the sun's hot spot, its geographical position over our beautiful plane called the Earth. And those red lines coming from it. Just imagine a sailor on the boat at the bottom of one of those, getting the angle, draw a circle around that hot spot. It's flat. That's it.
Excellent.
Goodbye, globe. You're the sextant.
Great presentation.
I don't know. The Perseverance robe is going to Mars today, buddy.
Tent. Nathan, if you just put back up that two Polaris diagram, we have all the red lines coming off the globe going straight up parallel.
Yeah, it's on.
Thank you. This is an argument I've had with the ballers for a few years now, where I've told them that their EQ mount telescope, when it is what's known as polar aligned, which means you will line up, there's an under lens, there's the main lens, but there's an under lens that you will line up, and it takes about 4 or 5 hours to do it correctly with Polaris. And you can't move either the EQ mount or the ground underneath it even 1 millimeter, or you lose your alignment. And they always try to make the example that know that the Earth can rotate and still keep its alignment to Polaris, because they say it's like a flat. It's like being on a flat disc. Basically, they give the example of it being on a flat disc where you have something pointed in towards the center. Let's say on like on a children's merry-go-round or something, right? And I put that to bed. I told them straight, no. If you make that onto a globe, for a start, you won't be able to have parallel. You will have to tilt it slightly in the way. You'll have no way out of that. Because what they try to say is that the lens is that their EQ mount is making a parallel with the center of the globe, and the center of the globe, which would be, in their belief, geographic north, right, is pointing directly at Polaris, when Polaris traditionally is actually claimed to be over magnetic north, not geographic north anyway. But it doesn't matter. I've told them that as soon as you rotate that globe, right, with that lens aligned with Polaris, you will lose alignment straight away, because you're only aligned for that very brief moment. As soon as that globe rotates, there is no way you're going to stay aligned, because you can't stay aligned due to the fact of the shape that you're using, which is a globe. And and not only that, but I also brought Kepler's analemma into it to show them it's completely impossible, because people have these things polar aligned for months and more, maybe years at a time.
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Also below this video, there is a link to get £50 back for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Brian's Logic, Neil, 10th Man, Arwin, and a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome one and all.
Hello.
Hello. Good
Greetings.
afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome. What were we discussing prior to this? There was a couple of things that came up in the pre-show. Mars was one of them, and it's claimed that there's a journey taking place to Mars. Well, any claim that comes from that region, I didn't say this to you during the pre-show, Neil, but any claim from that region, in this case, a journey to a rock called Mars, a little red dot in the sky, or little orange dot. That journey takes place through a second law of thermodynamics violation sky vacuum, automatically debunking any claim that they make. So your exasperation, Neil, that you've got them actually just faking the whole thing, yeah, they are, because the place they're claiming to go doesn't exist. It violates natural law.
No, I know that, but I was just wondering, like, when people are watching it, they believe that they are actually watching this rover go to Mars. They don't. I'm talking about the regular people in the world, normies. They don't think it's CGI. They think they're actually watching a rover going to Mars.
Indeed. Yes, that is the Western worldview lie that we deal with here on a daily basis, Neil. That's correct.
That's insanity.
It is. It's nuts.
What?
There we go.
Wasn't there already a rover on Mars, supposedly, for years?
Yes, there's been many that they claim to have travelled through a second law of thermodynamics violation sky vacuum and land on a claim to be physical rock in the sky, which size has been determined by assuming Venus is a similar size to Earth and scaling values based on physical horizons we've debunked. But all that aside, the journey itself took place in a place that isn't existing. So it's like saying, well, yeah, of course they went to Narnia. They went through the wardrobe, obviously. Well, of course they went to Mars. They went through the sky vacuum. No, if they did, we'd all be dead. The gas we breathe would be filling that availability of volume called space.
I wonder if they passed a Tesla car on the way there.
Look, right, I get into arguments with people when I've shown them that, where they demand that I prove that that's something that's claimed to be real. Obviously, they tell me it's fake. Why would you assert that that's something real? That's what I get told when I show them the Starman footage.
Yeah, when is the first car crash in orbit going to happen? You know, it's going to crash at some point.
None of them could be there. Didn't you hear, Nathan? But I think I know why they're doing it. Tell me if I'm right. They got to keep reifying it in people's minds, correct?
Yeah, you've got to keep lying. You've got to keep them. You've got to maintain the lie. Yes.
Well, I don't think it's actually. I don't even think they have to be that sneaky. I have a video now. I put out this thing a long time ago, several years ago. When I say a long time, several years ago. And now I have a couple of videos. My most recent one has taken a lot of critiques into account. And just to get to the bones of it, I'm not blowing my own trumpet here. I'm just making a point. I'm showing how a sunrise and sunset works with physical demonstration and explanation, by the way, over a flat surface. I'm showing how that happens. It has my video, my most recent one, has 470 views. Now, someone else might bring out a video of how they got their hand stuck in a piece of rubber, and that has 470,000 views within an hour. So, it's like, the world is interested in nonsense. They're not interested in real. That's the problem we have.
Brian, can you use a different example than rubber, because that's a stretch?
I know, it's just, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like, you look at a video and it's there up 2 hours and has 56,000 views, and it could be something silly. Like, I don't have anything against silly videos, but the point is that it doesn't matter what you put out there. If the world doesn't want to see it, they'll make a point of not watching it.
Oh, they're going to watch NASA. There's going to be millions watching NASA today.
Yeah, because it's giving them a fantasy. That's the problem. Not a reality.
Yeah, it's akin to saying, well, there's tens of millions of Muslims that walk around that cube each year. So what?
I want to know how they're going to get into a fender bender with all that space, like Arwin said, the first accident.
What space? Any evidence you can have gas pressure, that's the stuff we're all breathing, without a container, i.e. their claim that Earth is a containerless system with gas pressure not expanding into an availability of volume in violation of natural law. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without a container?
Not a chance.
Yes. Give me 2 containers and a pressurizer, and I can show you.
The question was without a container, Arwin. Without a container.
Give me 2 containers and I'll show you gas pressure without a container. Is that what that was?
Yes. To demonstrate gas pressure without a container, you need 3 containers. And by baller logic standards, that is perfectly legitimate thing to say.
Okay. So if I want demonstrations of gas pressure without a container, I have to accept... I know you just said 3 containers. It's obviously going up by the day. At least 2 containers is what I'm typically exposed to. But nevertheless, they'll definitely
but you're still standing in one, so there's always going to be that third one.
If gas particles are like bouncy balls, then they just fall back down.
But they're not. They expand in all directions at high speed to fill the availability of volume they have, unless impeded by something to bounce off of, like a container.
No, they got springs.
No, they
That's
don't.
what they argue, isn't it?
But gas does not go down, go boom, boom.
No, gas acts like bouncy balls, but at the same time goes up 60 miles.
Great. That makes a U-turn.
At the same time, all the time, every time.
that covers
Well,
that then. Is there anything specifically?
I
Hold
have
on.
more to say on it
Go
before
on.
you move, if you don't mind, Nathan.
Go on.
It is absolutely not possible. I won't even use the word impossible. It is absolutely not possible for a gas pressure gradient to form within a vacuum. But it is very possible. Actually, it's not just possible. It's an absolute definite of what will happen when you have a dynamic system within containment. What will happen is you will have a very low level vacuum at the very top of that containment if you have a gas pressure, because the dynamic system will create a gas pressure gradient. So if you have the majority of the gas pressure at the bottom, and especially with it cycling with the bottom, then you're going to have a very low level vacuum towards the top. But that will be at the very top underneath the ceiling. And the only reason that's able to be there is because vacuums also need containment. So it's not possible to show gas pressure or a gas pressure gradient forming within a vacuum, and it's not possible to show a vacuum without containment either.
Did you say ceiling? What ceiling
Yes.
are we talking about?
Containment of some description. I don't know what the ceiling is. I don't know what the sky is, and there's a massive lie about what it is. They claim it's a sky vacuum. Now, beyond that, that's the information we have. Now, am I privy to the sky? No, I'm not. Nobody is. So we don't know is the only honest answer. However, the antecedent for the gas pressure we are breathing is containment. So there must be containment for us to have gas pressure.
Yeah, but when you say that ceiling, then they start saying, "Show me the dome."
Well, that doesn't matter.
Hold on.
Say dome.
Well, that's okay. When someone tells me, "Show me the dome," well, I could be very well chanting that to NASA, couldn't I? Obviously, I'm not so stupid as to chant to the liars that they should tell me the truth. That would be absurd. You know, you relinquish them out of your life when you realise they're liars. Nevertheless, it's the first step for the person who's in opposition to you when they say, well, show me the dome. Oh, so you understand that we must have containment then? So, like me, you would like to know what the sky is now and are challenging me to tell you. Well, I don't know. I'm sorry about that. But I know what it isn't. It's not a sky vacuum. Yeah? That's what we're told, though. And you're told it and I'm told it. What makes you think I'd know any better? Well, the only thing I know is it's not what they claim. Beyond that, you're in the same boat as me now. Mr. What's the Dome? I don't know, and neither do you. But we both now know it's not a sky vacuum and we require containment, though, don't we both? So they're in the same boat as you when they say that to you. Welcome them to Flat Earth.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you turned off the sun... Sorry, Chuck, you're going to say something?
No, I was going to say, I'm with that right there. Like, I don't know what it is, but I know what it's not. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Look, if you turned off the sun, then everything would equalize. It's the sun's effect, whatever the sun is. It's its effect that causes everything, basically, to be as it is. It causes growth. It causes cycles. It causes pressure at the bottom higher than, let's say, at the bottom of a mountain than it is at the top of a mountain.
Correct.
You know, it causes all this. If the sun just turned off tomorrow, then the pressure would just equalize throughout the whole container.
Right.
So when
it's a
they
massive
go up
entropy generator
on,
is what you're saying. It's generating. It's an entropy generator. It is generating those changes. Yes, you're correct.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like when they go up, like with Mr. Sensible did with Mage, and he gets like a 10 to the minus 2 tour, way up, like 40 or whatever, 40 kilometers, whatever it was up. I mean, that is to be expected within a dynamic system. You're going to get that within a dynamic system. It's the majority of the pressure and gases are being produced, cycled, and the most amount of weather and heat is all happening at the bottom due to the sun. That's what you're going to have. It's like a dynamic within it. It's like having a dynamic barometer, if you understand what I mean, where there's a vacuum type situation at the top of a thermometer and a barometer, but there's a lot of other stuff happening below it. But if you turn off that sun, everything will equalize. There won't be any more cycles. There won't be any more, gas pressure gradient. And it is possible to have a very low level vacuum exist within a container with a dynamic system. It's impossible but it is impossible for a dynamic system and a gas pressure gradient to happen within a vacuum.
What you're calling a vacuum in there arbitrary. Hold on.
It's bound by the volume.
Hold on. What you're calling, or they call more accurately, a vacuum in their arbitrary definition of a vacuum, 10 to the minus 2 in this example. Well, what you're talking about is low pressure.
Yeah. A very low level, low grade vacuum. It's not.
Right. So what you're saying is you go up high and you get less gas. And the reason is because it's being produced on the ground, and as it expands, it thins out. So the higher you go, the thinner it gets. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, because we don't live up there. It's needed down here. And that's why the system makes sure it's down here. Make sure that it's down here, because this is where it's meant to be. If you want to see it from a logical point of view, isn't it, Nathan?
Correct. But to have that system develop in the first place, to have the gas pressure in the first instance, there must be containment. Because if beyond that 10 to the minus 2 was 10 to the minus 17 and availability of volume for the gas to fill, there'd be rapid expansion into it. There isn't, so there isn't. The sky is not a vacuum.
Yeah,
Exactly.
my son.
There's no way it could happen.
My son gets stuck in that. He starts to understand, but then he thinks that then why is it not filling up? And I guess equalizing or overflowing, or is there too much of one and not the other?
Dynamic.
Can I give an illustration? This reminds me when I was younger. I used to make root beer fruit.
Hold on.
Root beer. Okay.
Hold on. No, you could just tell him it's a dynamic system, and like he was taught in second grade. Dynamic system. Water heats up, as one example, and goes up into the sky, defying gravity. Go down, go boom, boom. It does not. And then forms clouds. And then it comes back down again as rain. When the bonds become too heavy. You've got too much of it. It's too dense. It can't support its own weight as gas. It condenses and falls as rain, and the cycle begins again. Well, that's a cycle. But it's not like it's going to ever increase. It's not like we've got a constant flow of water vapor being produced and just not going anywhere or doing anything, and it doesn't work like that. It's cycling.
Yeah, I told him about the dynamic system. He still thinks that it's got to fill up eventually if it's in a container, if we're closed in.
Neil, ask him to just look at a barometer or a thermometer and ask him to put a dynamic system within that. And it's the same type of thing where you're going to have a situation where you'll have the lowest pressure at the top, the highest pressure at the bottom. That's what it's going to. Now, the barometer is just a very crude version, but you can't have a gas pressure gradient forming, right? Because you'd need gas pressure first, forming within a situation where you have a 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum with a volume that is so huge that it's undefined, and the gas stay here. That's not what happens. You can't have that, but you can within a container create a dynamic system and create a pressure gradient where the most pressure is at the bottom and the least pressure, which would be a very low grade vacuum, will be at the top.
But by their arbitrary definition of what a vacuum is.
Yeah, I mean,
I was just going to say that's what frustrates me, because if we're on a ball, then there would be no gas pressure at all. It's going to just disappear.
Exactly.
So, it doesn't make sense to me why he's struggling with this.
Correct. Where'd you get the gas pressure from in the first place? When they argue about delta X and gas pressure gradients, how do you develop the initial gas pressure for it to form a gradient? Because if it is just a vacuum for it to expand into it, it will do. That's what entropy is. A law of nature. So you don't get to develop gas pressure if you haven't got containment. That's the point. You don't get to the delta of gas pressure gradients either without containment.
Yeah, how'd the gas get here in the first place?
Exactly. Where'd you get the gas pressure from in the first place? Without containment, you can't. Without the container, there can be no pressure.
Yeah, that's
Even the
why I
gas
think this is
itself,
still the best
you
argument.
can't get that.
Well, to have pressure, we need a container. We need to have like a pressure gradient. Let's say we need a container. We need a heat source, and a place that's warm and a place that's cool, and we need gas at pressure in the first place. So it's not possible to have without a container. You can't have those things.
Right. But you can have the beautiful harmony that we do have in nature. That is absolutely happening every day. And we observe it, and we observe the cycles. Now, the cycles have been hijacked, and we've been told that no, that light in the sky is static by reference to you. It's merely your position turning in reference to it that causes it to seem to move. Well, that's a load of nonsense. The sun cycles, and that's what gives us our dynamic system and life. And without it, we'd all die. Now, when you watch a mainstream science or pseudoscience show about such a hypothetical situation, they stop the Earth turning. What would happen if Earth stopped turning? One side would scorch and the sun... No. It's complete nonsense, based on the premise that we're turning and it's not. Well, it clearly moves, obviously and apparently so. You watch it happen all day, every day, and there's no other observable claim to be Coriolis deviation on a claim to be spinning Earth beneath you. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Show us a citation that the globe claims that there's rotation.
Globe claims we've got Coriolis effect. So because everyone is well aware of this term Coriolis effect, regardless of whether they understand its meaning or not, people are 100% acutely aware that the globe claims to have Coriolis effect. Well, that's Earth turning beneath stuff not attached. So Earth would be turning underneath stuff not attached if it's got this Coriolis effect, because that's what Coriolis is. You observing things seem to drift as you turn beneath them. Well, if we're turning beneath things like aeroplanes, it would shorten their flight times. It is as simple as that. It does not happen because Earth is not turning beneath anything.
What did Chocolate ask? Show us a what?
A citation that says we are supposed to be turning beneath things. And I pointed out that's what Coriolis is.
But isn't the sunset and sunrise on their model proof of Earth spinning?
No, that's a claim of
Yeah, the
Coriolis
stuff in the
deviation.
sky is
That's
moving.
correct. That's a claim of Coriolis deflection. You turning beneath the sun in its from the solar centric position, or whatever they call it, you apparently moving beneath it according to their claim, so that its position in the solar system is fixed, and your turning is what causes it to rise and set. That's their claim in the heliocentric model. Well, that's you turning beneath things. That's Coriolis effect.
Yeah, and what the sun is doing is it's going down below the geometric horizon.
That's debunked also.
Yeah, right. Sorry.
Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon formerly known as Earth curvature?
Sunsets.
The bat
Sorry.
signal?
Yeah, the horizon's not Earth curve. It's not a physical geometric location for a sun to set behind. We've debunked that with the black swan. Any evidence the R value formerly derived from a physical geometric sphere edge horizon by Al-Biruni?
Black swan.
No, the
Yeah, we
horizon is an apparent location. It's a visual, optical location only. It's not a physical geometric one, and it's dependent on weather and elevation of the observer. That's it.
About the distance to the
I
sun.
love the globe is telling us how optical it is. It's so wonderful.
Yeah,
It's like-
it's irony, isn't it? I can't wait
It
for
is,
someone to tell
man.
me. I've not had the pleasure yet, Chocolate, but when I do, I can't wait to bark fleur perspective at them.
I don't blame you, man. How the hell 3 years ago they were telling us we made this shit up? Now they're telling us, guys, you forgot about perspective and optics. Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks.
the thing we were talking about for 3 years, right?
Yeah. Not the thing we forgot about our the thing we talk about all the time, every day. Thanks.
Yeah, well, we can start telling them about blurf perspective.
What you're talking about, there isn't any. They only have a claim of geometry. There is no blur perspective. There's only a claim of physical geometric sphere-edge horizons getting in the way of boats and buildings at a geometric measured value to give you feet and inches obscured values based on its physicality getting in the way. All done in orthographic view to remove all aspects of perspective. In reality, perspective is Earth curve. They're telling you that the vanishing point is Earth curve. That's all this trick is. They've just taken an effect that we see in nature, that's perspective, objects in the distance getting smaller as they get further away, until they vanish completely due to an optical limitation. Angular resolution, it's called. Well, that effect has been called Earth curve. And to remove all aspects of blur perspective, which do not exist, to remove all aspects of perspective, they just turn the view side on, so you see the side of your own head. Well, you don't see the side of your own head when you're taking a photograph, but that's how they'll represent it, to remove all aspects of perspective and call it Earth curve, because that's all the horizon is. The vanishing point has been called Earth curve and claimed to be physical, and it's not. It's an optical phenomenon that changes with the bloody weather.
Yeah, but in blur perspective, you see, everything is seen as the side-on orthographic view, and there is no such thing as angular size change.
Oh, I see.
Nah, we got a name for that already, man. It's Muppet vision.
Yeah, Muppet vision.
We named
All
that
the
3 years ago.
geometry is
Yeah, but
theoretical.
It's abstract. It's maths. Yes.
Yeah.
One day you got to put that list on that guy made. He made a list of all the things we call it, all the reasons for it. I forgot who it was. I only heard it one time.
What's in their column? Earth curve. It's the only claim. Physical geometry blocking boats and buildings in the distance. Physical feet and inches value based on the bulge obstructing your view. And the bulge is the horizon. It's the thing that they claim gets in the way with its physical nature because you're on a sphere. Well, that would create physical geometric limitations, and those are the ones in the Earth curve maths. On the basis that the horizon, an optical position that changes with weather and can be forced further back if you've got a zoom camera, because it's down to the aperture, that's your limitation. Rayleigh criteria can calculate it, and what do you know? The numbers are almost identical to Earth curve mathematics. Shocker. Yeah, that's because they've nicked perspective and called it Earth curve. Now they're claiming that a vanishing point in the distance that you taught about in art class is actually a physical obstruction based on geometry. Well, they simultaneously tell us the geometric horizon only exists in the maths. We wouldn't expect to see geometry. And nobody claims the horizon is Earth curve. So dead. Any scientific evidence?
That's the most insane part. That the same guy that came in with the list is the same guy who said, "Well, nobody claims the horizon's curve of the Earth."
Yeah, he presented the
while
list.
Simultaneously showing us horizons labeled curve of the Earth.
It wasn't his list,
Right.
though.
You can't make this stuff up, man.
It was
And
Tim
in my
Osman that
chat, they're
presented the list.
constantly
You're right.
spouting how spheres don't have edges.
It was Tim Osman that presented the list, but it wasn't actually Tim Osman's list. Someone else had compiled it. He just saw fit to present it to us. Like I say, one long column with all of the different things that people who are actually a bit more inquisitive and don't just take standard rhetoric, they go out for their own benefit and see how it actually works. And they'd got all sorts of phenomena that they had seen, observed and detailed, documented, videotaped, photographed. And they said, here you go, here's a swell. The water's rising and it blocks stuff at the bottom. There you go. There's a genuine cause of bottom-up obstruction, sod all to do with Earth curve, everything to do with the water getting higher. So that gets added to the Flurfer's reason for bottom-up obstruction, because what's in their column? Earth curve. Well, angular resolution limits at distances, otherwise known as Flurfspective. That's in our column. What's in their column? Earth curve. Physical geometric sphere edge horizon blocking boats and buildings at a feet and inches value that ignores perspective.
Isn't his name Timmy Clown?
Yeah, we're talking about Tim Osman, yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody claims the horizon is Earth curve. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my Earth curve horizons. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
What is gravity?
Currently, the bending of pseudo-Ramonian force space caused by the uneven distribution of mass.
That's not what this guy was saying yesterday.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a tree and he was branching out from the non-force force.
Well, we're stupid if we say there's no such thing as gravity. We sound dumb.
Look, right, you need to respect Issa. If Issa says it's dumb to say denying gravity to a normie and tell him about the tree growing from Earth and stars being its leaves, then you better understand that he knows what's stupid and what's not.
Well, it is pretty stupid to declare something doesn't exist when you don't know what that something is. What if it did exist? You can only know after you know what it is.
Well, they never define it. We know what it is, and it's not a force, and they only utilise it in arguments here at trench level to create a force to overcome problems like gas expanding into sky vacuums, but it's not a force.
Well, we don't know what it is either. We just know what they're supposed to think it means.
Oh, but we do know what it is, Arwen. It's a mathematical equation. That's what it is at present.
I was going to
So
say
do
the
we
same
think
thing,
we
Brian.
That's the data we are being given about it.
Yeah, we do know, though.
Its origin started in a book written in Latin by a man called Isaac Newton, who used Latin words like gravitas and masse, which meant heavy, weight, and a large amount of, and then someone else turned it into, if you look into the history of it, it was turned into a force type thing, and that didn't actually last too long, because it wasn't too long after that, after Charles Vernon Boys came up with his 9.8 M2. It wasn't too long after that, it was like less than 20 years later, I think it was, that Einstein threw the whole lot out the window. So, the whole force thing has been latched onto, but technically that didn't last too long.
Threw what out the window?
No.
He threw out the window what Newton said he didn't even claim a hypothesis for.
Yeah.
Well, Newton was speaking.
So he threw nothing out the window.
Well, Newton was speaking in Latin anyway, so
There was nothing in the window in the first place. But my point is that these are all descriptions of describing gravity. Still, nobody actually knows what it is, though, because there's nothing been proven about it. There is no real claim about it, what it really does. There's only descriptions. So
That's correct.
to say we know what it is technically incorrect. We know what it's supposed to be according to a certain religious view. We don't know what it is.
Yes, that's absolutely right. We do know the abstract description applied to the concept of gravity. We can detail their concept back. But what Arwen's saying is, well, what is it in physical terms? How does it manifest? What is it in reality? And, well, there isn't anything. There's nothing for it to be. It's an abstract description of bending pseudo-force space. There's nothing in reality about that description. There's nothing to see here. It doesn't exist.
But wait a second. Isn't that keeping us on the ground, according to them?
Isn't that what, sorry?
Isn't that what's keeping us on the ground and not floating off this ball?
Sounds like a cool story.
No, that's out of date since 106 years ago, Neil. That was gravity as a force.
Hey, Chocolate, didn't
Hold on, let me just
Neil
answer
deGrasse
Neil.
Why would
Tyson
anybody
get
be
this
floating
question?
away?
Hold on. Yes, he's right. At trench level, if nothing else. Yes, that's correct, Neil. They assert that we've got a downward vector that stops things from flying off. And yet gas does not go down, go boom, boom. Flying in the face of that nonsense. Gas expands in all directions. At vast speeds to fill the availability of volume. It's not going down, go boom, boom. So this assertion of a mandatory downward force is just nonsense. Gas flies in the face of that.
Even Albert Einstein knew it was nonsense back in 1915. That's why he got rid of it. You know what I mean? He knew he could come up with a much more complicated heap of nonsense for the world to believe than that.
To be clear, we're saying that the alleged cause is ridiculous, or the phenomenon that they're trying to describe.
Man, you've been around ballers a while, eh? Cause of what? Cause of what?
This downward vector.
The downward vector that gas goes down in 9.8 meters per second as it expands in all directions to fill the availability of volume. That doesn't happen.
Doesn't work with gas.
So just to get back on track. So you're saying cause of what now? Are you saying we've got to discuss the cause of what? What's being observed? Arwen's point.
Weight.
Stuff going downward vector, like gas and helium when it goes up. No, mate, no.
Weight is a derived concept. It's pretty arbitrary based on the medium. The medium of the object that's being weighed, right? So depending on the medium it is in, the weight has a different derived numerical value.
That's what I was trying to get at. I thought we had the answer because everything finds its equilibrium.
Sorry, just quick shout out to Godzilla37. He says, you can't be serious. NM in the chat informs us that cell phones have gravity sensors. So obviously it's a real thing. Well, I mean, I've got a unicorn sensor in mine. So pretty much that makes unicorns real, Godzilla. I don't know what your problem is. Thank you for the super chat, though.
Well, unicorns are in the Bible.
Yeah.
Might be real.
Yeah, they call them accelerometers, but that's just a begging the question name. There's actually two types of accelerometers, and they both work using relative density, basically.
Can I play what Neil deGrasse Tyson says about it?
Says he doesn't know and then asks the interviewer to move on. If that's the clip, then not really. But if you insist, I suppose.
No, I don't insist. I just thought it was relevant to what we're talking about. He was asked the question, what is gravity?
Go ahead.
We don't know. Next question.
Here we go.
What is gravity?
I have no idea. Okay, next question.
Wow.
No, here's the difference. We can describe gravity. We can say what it does to other things. We can measure it, predict with it. But when you start asking, like, what it is, I don't know.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, because it doesn't have anything in physicality. You can describe it. What in maths, abstract. Well, that's fascinating. I can describe a unicorn, Mr. deGrasse Tyson. But what is a unicorn in reality? I don't know. I can't dissect one. And gravity's the same. It doesn't manifest in reality. It's just a mathematical description.
It's funny that when he said, I don't know, next question, she hit him with the wow. Sounding like me.
What? I missed it.
I was just watching one of his stupid ass interviews when the one where he was saying you don't see curvature above this beach ball. That stuff is flat. So it's like, and then that conversation follows up with her saying, well, of course, the sizes and distance of these things, like, we have to understand our extractions. What do you call abstractions? Yeah, and I'm like, they're giving you all the game right here. They're basically telling you all of this is BS.
Yeah, when he says we can calculate it, and they're, as you describe it, detailing their abstractions, well, that's them telling you up front, and most of them are well aware of it. At some level, they're aware that it's merely a attempt to describe reality, but the people at trench level take it one step further and reify the abstract description into actual reality. It's like, no, this feeble attempt, this blunt little tool they're using of mathematical language to dissect the very complex nature of our reality doesn't mean that their mathematical description can be translated back out into reality, because it isn't. It's merely their mathematical descriptions of things like pseudo-4 space. A place that doesn't exist.
Gravity is the only definitely proven 100% real thing that no one can ever isolate, show, or describe its origin of, or anything like that. But it's definitely there. They know it is, but no one knows anything about it, and no one can prove it.
Isn't that similar to entropy?
We'll come to that in a sec. Hold on, just one sec. Godzilla37, thank you again for the super chat. He says, can't believe it. You just hand-waved cell phone gravity sensors. What's next? Do you dismiss unicorn sensors too? I think I brought up the unicorn sensors, validating unicorns, Godzilla, but I mean, thanks again for the super chat. But I find that quite offensive as a devout unicorn stalker. Go ahead, Rams.
Just in that we know that entropy happens. We don't know the cause. We don't know why it happens, but we know that it happens.
Entropy is a description of what we see. It's not a claim in the same way.
Well, isn't gravity an attempted description of what we see?
What do we see again?
Yeah, but...
Hold on. Didn't we do this 5 minutes ago? What is it we're seeing again?
Yeah, I know. You got
maybe
me.
Maybe we could argue about the cause of this thing that we're yet to describe seeing. Maybe we could get into that dangle when we haven't described the phenomena we're observing. And we never will. What's that, Mr. deGrasse Tyson? Don't know, move on. There's just nothing to see here. But what's that? Look at my maths. Yeah, right.
In terms of what it is, we don't know. It's no wonder they just throw him under the bus hard and fast. Any bets on when he's going to come out with his apology that the Globers are apparently expecting from him, since he made such a goof by saying you can't see curvature from 128,000 feet?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. Look at the spell he has over these people that interview him. He has a spell over them.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I get the sense that the pseudo-scientific community are upset at mainstream because this is their like Dungeons and Dragons thing, and they're trying to carefully tell anyone who will listen, like that will give them a platform, the people that are trying to get them to convince us, and they're like, well, you know, they're really misleading, and I hate when they do this because what it really is we can't see the Earth unless we're in deep space and blah, 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 blah. That's why we have satellites and stuff for that, blah, blah, blah. And you know what I mean? Like, he's basically telling them, no, you never experience a globe. Never.
He's a magician.
Yeah, if they just followed his lead, they'd have a much stronger argument. If you know what I mean, because he threw them under the bus first when he says things like, I don't know what gravity is. Do you know what I mean? It's like he threw them under the bus first when he says stuff like that.
Well, Joe Rogan pushed him a little bit.
But aren't half the time aren't they under this false pretense that, oh, we have this, you know, wonderful unified model. We have this model that works and it's great, and you guys don't. But it's like this is the guy that's running around teaching everybody what your model's about, and you're blatantly disagreeing with him. Isn't that making your whole model suspect? The fact that you're disagreeing with your own priest, that's crazy.
Yeah, he's just being honest.
How can
he's just telling you.
Brian, how can you deny there's no evidence of gravity? When you get on some scales, the force registered on those scales is the force of gravity. The fact that you're denying that makes you an utter moron.
So,
hello.
How do we put gas on the same scale to weigh it? Can we do that? Is there a downward vector
He
for the
just
gas?
comes in with his bullshit.
Yeah, he doesn't say hi, nothing. Come on, have some respect.
Right, downward vector for gas.
Right, what's
How
up,
can I respect anybody who's denied that the gravity exists? I mean,
so gravity, according to Rumpus, is a downward vector at 9.8 meters per second that you can experience if you get on a scale. I've asked him, does gas go down, go boom, boom?
Absolutely, it does. Yes.
Really? So if I put gas on a scale, I can weigh it, can I?
Yeah, put it in a vacuum and you can weigh that, yeah.
Put it in a vacuum? Why would I need to put it in a vacuum? You mean a container? Sorry, just gas?
Well, gas tends to wander about, so you need to keep it somewhere.
Wander about? Doesn't it stay on the scale for you to weigh it with this arbitrary downward vector?
It will run around, so you need to keep it
Run around? What the hell's it doing running around and not obeying gravity?
Oh, it does obey gravity, just like...
Well, why isn't it going down, go boom, boom to be weighed on the scale then?
Because balls. If I drop a ball...
Balls? You can suck my balls. It's not going down, go boom, boom, fuckwit. Don't you understand what gas does, you complete mong?
You don't understand...
You don't understand what gas does, you're as thick as Thunderfoot. Gas does not go down, go boom, boom. According to you, it runs around. Well, that's not going down to be weighed, is it, Clown Show?
It does.
No, it does not. You're thick. You and PhD Thunderfoot Clown are thick as shit. Gas does not go down. You cannot weigh it on a scale. You'd require a container. So no, getting on a scale doesn't apply to gas because it does not go down, go boom, boom, Clown Show.
If you had the floor of your vacuum chamber covering the floor, then you wouldn't need to contain it.
Sorry, if I had the floor of a vacuum chamber, why the hell do we suddenly need a vacuum chamber? Are you admitting that we need containment to have vacuums?
There was nowhere, in other words, caught all the gases in action.
Sorry, you just said get on a scale and now we need a fucking vacuum chamber to make your point?
Well, you don't actually.
So we don't just need a scale, we need a fucking vacuum chamber and a scale. Wow, this is a great example of something very naturally occurring. Scales and vacuum chambers, are they occurring in nature? No, this doesn't seem to apply to nature, because your scale example doesn't apply to gas. Gas does not go down, go boom boom, like bouncy balls poured into a fish tank, as asserted by you, a complete idiot, and PhD idiot Clown Show Thunderfoot. You're both idiots. Gas does not go down. You can't weigh it on a scale. You're an idiot. If you think there's a force pulling things down, it doesn't apply to gas. Gas pisses in the face of this utter nonsense you and Thunderfoot assert.
And subtract the weight of the container, and you end up with.
Why have we got a container in the mix? Do you admit we must have containment? Do you admit it? We must have containment then?
Well, the thing is, gas molecules run around.
So we must have containment for them to stop them running around then, right?
Well, yeah, they're running around at 500 meters per second.
So we've got to have containment, or they'd run around into space.
I think he's going to talk
No,
about
they won't go. They only go up so high.
Oh, really? Why? Because they go down, go boom, boom? No, they don't do that, you stupid idiot. You and Thunderfoot are thick as shit. And me, I'm a proud flat earther, telling idiots who believe they're on a sphere that gas does not go down, go boom, boom. You complete idiot.
It does.
No, it does not. You are thick. You're a reality denier, an entropy denier, a gas law denier. You don't understand how gas behaves. You think you can weigh it on a scale because it goes down, go boom, boom. No, it's suddenly going up at 500 meters per second away from your scale. So no, gravity debunked. You're not weighing a gas, it's running away, mate.
I throw a ball up in the air.
That's not gas. Shit for brains. Can't you keep up? I know you need to equivocate with balls. Gas isn't balls. Yet when it goes up into the sky in water form, it might regain some bonds to come back down as water in the form of rain and not gas. But that's not gas going down, go boom, boom like solid bonded bouncy balls. In the case of water vapour, it has to develop into molecular bonds in the sky, in the clouds, for it to come back down. Sod all to do with gravity and everything to do with it acquiring intermolecular bonds to become liquid water, to put itself out of density disequilibrium and come back to Earth. It's not because it's solid bonded like bouncy balls and it's just going to arbitrarily fall back down. That's you and Thunderfoot with your globe belief poisoning my audience. But I don't mind, because I get to teabag you, call you thick for your stupidity and assumption that gas goes down, when you automatically tell us that it's going to run around. Up!
You understand that when something's moving upwards, it's being...
Upwards, then? What about putting it on a scale? That all out the window suddenly, yeah. So when it's going upwards, it's not going to sit on your scale very well.
No,
do you understand that when something's going upwards,
it's not going to sit on your scale for your example to weigh it with gravity then?
But do you understand it's accelerated downwards? Do you understand that?
Sorry, you just said that when it goes upwards and then you seem to cut out your own mic for some strange reason.
No, someone else did. Someone muted me.
No, it didn't.
So
maybe let's talk about the show for a bit when I point out for the 5th time that gas does not go down, go boom, boom. When I asked you about how you'd put it on a scale, you explained that it runs around and it's going to go up. So it's not going to be weighed on a scale.
And let's have... This channel's called a debate channel. Let's have a debate.
Suck on my balls while I say you and Thunderfoot are thick as shit. Gas doesn't go down. It runs around, right, Clown?
Accelerated downwards.
No, it's going up 500 meters per second. You're thick.
Atoms speaking of going upwards, like your water.
Upwards? So how are you going to get it on the scale to make your scale example then? Oh, let's brush past that because you're getting teabagged and tell me that I don't understand, that when it's going up, it's actually going down. Oh, someone has muted him now, and I don't
There's a
blame him.
difference between velocity and acceleration. You can be going upwards but being accelerated downwards.
And
What is
so,
being
okay.
accelerated?
So when a gas is
The
going up,
dumbest
okay,
shit I ever
and that
heard.
can, hold on, and that can be weighed on a scale, can it?
I've been muted again. I'm impossible to. Someone's
We can hear
muting
you.
me.
Yeah,
He's
because you
muted.
keep on fucking autologging and
You see,
repeating
he
yourself,
cannot-
and no one can
he's
hear
the
shit.
QE, the
You
most
dumbass!
stupid-
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, gas does not go down, go boom, boom, and all he's got is to completely disrupt Discord server to the point of irritation on everyone on Discord, so that he doesn't have to listen, and he can assert that when things are going up, they're actually going down, when his example to prove gravity was put it on a scale. What, and then watch
I'm
it
not trying to
fly up in
disrupt
the
it, I'm
air,
trying to listen to
500
you,
metres per
but I also
second?
want to get a sentence out. So, do you understand that?
How my balls taste? Yeah, when it's not going on a scale and flying away at 500 metres per second, you're not weighing it on a scale anymore, now are you?
So something going up is going down. You should be institutionalized, you clown. We want to get back to his besides gravity, because we already pummeled him for the past 3 years, his dumb shit radar to the sun, a black body. Can you tell us what a black body is, Rumpus?
You don't understand the difference between
Can you
acceleration
tell us what a
and
black
velocity.
body is,
No,
Rumpus?
I'm going to tell you the difference between acceleration and velocity first.
Oh, we're not listening to that dumb shit anymore.
I've already pummeled it.
You need a new game.
I've already pummeled it.
Coherent
He gave us an
game.
example with a scale. I asked how you weigh gas on the scale. He's now detailing how it flies away at 500 metres per second, invalidating his claim that we've got things automatically going down with a downward vector. Because the gas isn't going to be on your scale, but it's going to give us a prolonged description of how it's going up, but still what? Weighable on the scale? Yet to address that, you total
It's being
coward.
accelerated downwards, Nathan, but it's...
Oh, it's on the scale going downwards, is it? The gas is on the scale going down.
Notice QE's moron. He just
Notice he's not answering me, you abject coward. So the gas is going down on the scale example then, you abject coward.
QE is the most...
Oh, maybe talk about QE rather than suffer my balls. Yeah, I'd do the same if I was getting absolutely teabagged. That's right. So, you've given us an example that claims to be a proof of gravity you get on a scale. I ask how you do that with gas. And what do we get told? Well, let's have a description about velocity and acceleration instead. Because my example with a scale is completely invalidated by this question. So let's babble on indefinitely about how stuff going up, away from the scale, is actually automatically going down as well.
I said you can weigh it, but then you said, oh, hold on, they're going upwards. And
yes, so you can't fucking weigh it on a scale. So no, you can't weigh it. Are you thick?
So the gases, molecules are running around in all directions.
So not down on the scale, proving gravity then.
And so they're going in all directions, but they're going down.
Yeah, so all directions.
The acceleration is down, you moron. The acceleration is down, you...
Oh, I see. So we've got an acceleration. There's nothing being read on the scales whatsoever. And yet we've got an acceleration that's presupposed as being downwards when we're seeing nothing on the scale. So how does the scale prove this gravity when we're weighing gas then?
Moron QE.
He's just calling people morons, not listening to the absolute demolition of a globe belief, though, is he? Because his gas example, when you talk about scales, doesn't have any reading on it. But what, we're just going to fundamentally ignore that and assume that we've got downward vector with things going upwards? Now, we're not going to do that, you complete thicko. That's not how gas behaves. It runs around, right, clown show?
You are a remedial...
No, you're technically incorrect, Rumpus. If
Can I ask
something is
Rumpus a
moving
question?
up, it can't be accelerating in another direction. It might be decelerating, but if it's literally moving up, then it's not accelerating in another direction. That's a contradiction in the very foundation of logic.
Let Chocolate reason with him. Go ahead,
I
Chocolate.
want to respond to Arwin's term. Arwin, you've made an intelligent point there, but negative acceleration is the same as deceleration. So
that's
negative is just a different direction.
Rumpus.
So Nathan, Arwin, you're
Rumpus.
actually making an intelligent
Rumpus.
point, but
Can I ask you a question,
deceleration
Rumpus?
is just...
Fuck up.
Rumpus. He's still there?
Yeah, he's still there.
All right, so he's saying the gas is accelerating downwards as it's moving up, right? And like Arwin said, it might be decelerating, but it's not accelerating downwards, right? So, Rumpus, you're talking about the gas moving up. Are you just saying that the gas is slowing down?
Acceleration downwards is the same as deceleration, you utter moron.
It's not going downwards, you utter clown. It's going up. Yeah? While you
That's the whole
arbitrarily
point.
twist these words, it doesn't change the fact that the gas is going up at 500 meters per second now, does it?
He's saying that gas is going up, it's slowing down.
Rumpus, is gas that's decelerating moving up? Is that the same as gas going down?
No, it's not the same because acceleration and velocity are different.
That's our fucking point.
Yeah, so it's not going down, go boom boom then. So it's not going to be weighed on your scales then. Anyone with half a brain knows that you can't pour gas onto a scale and weigh it to prove gravity then. So not go down, go boom boom. So that's us winning, debunking an arbitrary 9.8 meters per second downward vector. Yeah, we've debunked that, you stupid shithead. And we've also debunked Thunderfoot Clown with his abject stupidity when comparing solids, that would be bouncy balls, with gases that are free to move. What was the words that Rumpus used? Run around, right, clown?
You can have a velocity upwards and acceleration.
Oh, upwards? What about the downward vector that's arbitrarily assigned at 9.8 meters per second? You're saying it's going up? Yeah, that pisses in the face of your claim. So we've got things not going down on the scale then?
Whoever said that velocity ain't slowing down is...
Whoever said that you could weigh a gas on a scale was thick as shit. Oh, that would be you, Rumpus, you thick shit. You think you can weigh gas on a scale to prove 9.8 meters per second downward vector? No, mate, you clown. The gas will run around like you seem to understand, but hold two positions simultaneously. That whilst accelerating upward, it's also decelerating, you abject clown. And then you compare that deceleration when something's accelerating upwards at 9.8 meters per second downwards? No, you're just a thicko.
I'm just going to say something to Rumpus. Rumpus, the closest thing to what you're detailing is convection. When you're giving what you're trying to explain there,
irrelevant,
just explains out like convection. That's the closest thing to it.
Brian, do you understand that you can have a velocity upwards and have an acceleration downwards, and then the velocity will become less? Do you understand that?
No, you can have. You can only have.
You don't understand that you can have a velocity upwards and be accelerating downwards. You don't understand that.
It only works in
You go up and down at the same time.
So hold on, Brian. Try and think that. Try and ignore what QE's saying because he's too
gases
stupid.
are running around in all directions.
Brian, just think about this.
Gases are running. Gases are running around in all directions, but they're going down. That's what he said. He should be institutionalized.
Rumpus, if I'm
accelerated down, you more.
Gases are running around in all directions, but they're going down. That's what you said.
Right, let's try this. Imagine you're in a car.
Gases are running around in all directions, but they're going down.
Imagination time. What happened to us weighing stuff on scales? Practical examples, physical. Is it time for imagination land instead? Yeah, because we just have to debunk your claim that a scale proves down, go boom, boom by asking you to do it with a gas. And suddenly we're moving over, transitioning to imagination land, it seems. What happened to the practical example with a scale? Not weighing gases.
Imagine you in a car doing...
Oh, imagination land. What happened to the scale? What happened to the scale where we just proved that gravity exists because we've got scales that we can get on with our bonded physical bodies to see the weight go down, go boom, boom? When we ask you about gases in the same example, we move on to imagination land and false comparisons. Why is that?
And this moron QE doesn't understand something.
Don't understand contradictions.
You are a moron.
You're a clown.
That's all he's got. All he's got is to come here and cause disruption. And that's what he's achieving. Yeah? Calling us morons and telling us that things go down, go up, so that the panel also interrupt concise descriptions of what's occurring. We have a contradiction. Things that start on the ground in the form of bonded water and then have those bonds relinquished so that they can escape upwards and accelerate into the sky, reaching velocities of up to, 500 meters per second, Rumpus, in all directions as they run around. They aren't going to be weighed on a scale. Completely demolishing his point. So what's he got after that? Is he going to concede? Of course he's not. but he can cause a disruption like his namesake. That's all he can do at this point, given that his argument has been debunked.
I've got a problem for.
So if I
Rumpus to
throw a
discuss
ball up
now.
from the ground
hang
at
on, please,
500
Anthony,
meters per
please.
second,
A ball is not gas, because a ball, like the water droplets that will eventually return to Earth, has intermolecular bonds. And when the gaseous water condenses and those intermolecular bonds force it out of equilibrium and make it drop back down, go boom boom, that's bonded water falling as liquid. It's not gas running out of steam, like bonded bouncy balls would, which are also bonded like the liquid water that would fall in the example of the water cycle. The gas, however, expands upwards and makes clouds. It at no stage goes down, go boom boom, like bouncy balls. You and Thunderfoot Clown are thick.
Upwards and
Hey, gases aren't balls, Rumpus, you numpty dipshit.
With that, I will say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's live show possible. If, however, you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. I've been Nathan Oakley and I'll see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!
acceleration and velocity, do you? You want
You are a utter. Get the hell out of here. We're tired of listening to your dumb shit. You know what? I can make a top 100 fuckwittery comments just with you. You know that. I keep writing them down. I can't write fast enough.
He's got 5 of them today, at least.
Rumpus, what
Gases
you're
are
doing
running
is
around in
you're
all directions,
inferring-
but they're going down. I mean, a second grader would roll their eyes and laugh at you. Friggin' bozo. You come in here, you can't shut your incoherent pie hole. You need to be horse tranquilized and sent to a fucking institution. Everyone knows it. You're a dipshit. You're a danger to you and to others. I wouldn't trust you to open up a fucking gumdrop wrapper. You give me sunshine. Everyone knows this except you. That's what makes you Dunning-Kruger. You're tracking with me, Sally.
You're a
fuckwit.
science denier, and you
Shut the fuck up. You don't even know what science is. It could land on your face, spin around, and whistle fucking Dixie, and you wouldn't be able to recognize it.
I've got a problem that I'd like Rumpus to explain for me.
Can I actually?
You want
say
to reason
something
with
first,
this
Anthony? 'Cause
fucking
Dwighty
insane?
addressed me.
Yes.
That shit
And I
insane.
You need to get yourself in though, Brian.
Sorry, Anthony.
Throw them bows, Brian. Throw them bows.
Just keep talking, Brian.
Rumpus, how did Albert Einstein describe the effect we would see? That's
So,
all that
Brian,
matters
do you
here,
understand the
because
difference
you're
between acceleration and velocity? Let's start off with that first. Just make sure we're on
No,
common
no,
ground
we'll
here.
start with
we're
Albert
not talking
Einstein.
about-
How
fuck
did he
off.
How did he describe the effect we would see?
I know.
Yeah, I just want to quickly
That's all,
sort out
hang on,
acceleration.
Anthony, that's all that matters. Rumpus.
Yeah, I just want to quickly sort out the acceleration and velocity thing.
I'm not interested. How did Albert Einstein describe the effect we would see?
Yeah, I just want to finish the acceleration and velocity thing.
No, because you're going back to gravity as a force, is what you started off with. This is the question I wanted to ask you from the minute you came in and addressed me.
Yeah, I'll do that in a second. I want to finish my sentence.
Described it not
So I
as
just
a
want
force.
you to.
Not
I
as a
just
force.
would like to finish my
Not
previous
as a force,
sentence.
but as the bending of
and
space
to Brian,
Yeah. Rumpus must funding mutant cause disruption. It's his only tactic. So it's not described as a force. So not as a force, but as the bending of a conceptual medium known as space-time, Brian.
Well, what he actually did, Nathan, was he said that the effect we would experience would be apparent orbits.
No, he said to be actual. You're a moron. You didn't. You've misunderstood him.
No, that is what he said.
Oh,
that
really?
is what he said.
Rumpus, you're trying to insert gravity as a force into
It
this
is a
argument.
force in our 3D world, and Einstein said the same thing because he agreed with Newton's equations.
Not a force.
In our three, he said
this fucking idiot brings up Newton's equations and Einstein's field equations when he hasn't done shit. He barely knew. He had to screenshot Einstein's field equation because he don't know what they is. And then when we asked him to support his claim to reduce it down to friggin' Newtonian mechanics with a practical example, he couldn't do it. So do that now.
You don't understand any of that.
You don't understand. I know. I don't understand that gases are running around in all directions and they're going down. Yeah, I don't understand that. You got that right.
The acceleration is down.
You and your acceleration. The acceleration between your ears of a vacuum. What about that?
You don't know what the difference.
Yeah, you don't know.
Let me ask Rumpus a couple questions.
Today I found out that when I'm driving and I go 50 miles per hour and I decelerate to about 25 miles per hour,
yep,
I'm actually going in reverse.
That's correct.
Clown.
According to Rumpus, that's correct.
No, the acceleration is in reverse, you fucking
the
moron!
Acceleration
Yeah, get angry for us.
Get angry.
Yeah, we love it.
Why?
We absolutely love it when we hear Rumpus getting frustrated. Yeah, the tables really have turned. We're sitting pretty knowing how fucking stupid all this nonsense you come out with is, Rumpus, while you get angry with us now. Yeah, your filibustering and rumpusing no longer has any effect whatsoever. But your stupid nonsense does still get heard by an audience, so I thank you for that, you dumb shit.
I'm trying to work out how many people in here don't understand.
I wonder how many people realise just how stupid you really are and how frustrated with us you're now getting.
So we've got 3...
Yeah? You're now getting frustrated with us.
Huey and Nathan who don't know it, and 10...
Don't know what? How stupid you are? Yeah, I implicitly know how stupid you are. You think gas go down, go boom, boom. You think that something that starts on the ground and accelerates up is actually being accelerated down. That's because you've got a fundamentalist religious belief with a not actual force that you want to reify to existence in 3D space when it's described by Einstein in pseudo-4 space. We know your game. There's nothing new you have to offer here. So all you can do is talk through everything everybody says in an attempt to frustrate us while you tell us that it's fucking acceleration, right, Rumpus? Yeah, get angry with us, you stupid little dick.
4 people who don't understand this.
Yeah, tell us that we don't understand, because that really goes over after 4 straight years.
Anthony, do you understand the...
Yeah, appeal to Anthony. Well, I tell my audience how fucking stupid you are and how you no longer have any pathetic effect here, that you're totally useless. Whoever's putting you up to this shit... They need their money back because you're useless at what you paid to do, Rumpus, which is come and disrupt. That's all you do. It's your namesake. And your pathetic ploys no longer work.
Nathan, let me have a couple of minutes.
We've got 4 people who don't know the difference, and I want to know if Anthony...
Rumpus, I want to ask you a question about your perception that gas molecules are like bouncy balls. Do you agree that carbon dioxide is more dense than nitrogen or oxygen?
Yeah, I'll answer that question, but could you quickly tell me if you understand? Could you quickly answer my question, Anthony?
No, what? Immediately you need to take control of the situation, Rumpus. No, that's not going to fucking happen. Yeah, you'll be shut down every time you try and retain some control here, because you're not in control. You're being asked something. Now, you can either worm and weasel, and we will absolutely shut your stupid dumbass down every time you try and retain control by asking us something. Nah, you can suffer our fucking nuts on your face, yeah? Or you can answer our questions. That's your choice.
The question, but I want to precede that by knowing what Anthony thinks.
I don't give a fuck what you want answered. Do you get it? Shit for brains. You'll be answering us or fucking off. That's your choice. We have absolutely zero respect for anything you have to offer. Now, if you want to ask something to us, you can piss off. Yeah? We know everything you have to offer. You have nothing new.
Rumpus,
I'm
just
more
go
than
with
happy
me on
to
this.
answer this question.
Excellent. Go ahead, Anthony. More than happy to answer. Let's see if he attempts to actually retain control after you answer the question or ask the question.
Carbon dioxide, more dense or less dense than nitrogen or oxygen?
Yeah, but I asked you a question first, Anthony.
Predictable as ever. Yet you need to get control back of this situation because you know you're going to get absolutely pummeled. So yeah, trying to get the question out that you're asking would be your way of trying to get control back. And we're not going to let it happen. You stupid, pathetic weasel. It's not going to happen.
Just answer the question, Rumpus.
Yeah, answer our questions. You will be subservient to us, you pathetic little moron.
Channel. This is supposed to be a debate channel.
And it's You'll Suck Nathan's Balls channel. I've dealt with you for 4 fucking years. So you think you deserve my respect? No, you deserve nothing but my laughter when you now get annoyed with us, Mr. Disruption. That's your name, right? Well, you're the one getting irritated, Mr. Disruption, not us.
I'll be honest
you
with
behave
you,
like
Rumpus,
Little
it is a
Hitler,
gotcha.
Nathan.
So,
Little Hitler, yeah. Yeah, you complain and bleat about how I behave. Yet you're still coming here, aren't you? Yeah? What are you, a masochist? Go on, bleat to me! Bleat to me like a pathetic beta masochist. Oh, I've come here and I don't like the treatment. Then fuck off, you pathetic masochist.
He don't even say hello when he comes in. He comes
Come
in
on, Anthony,
calling
answer my
people
question.
names.
Sorry, do you not want to bleat about how I'm treating you, you pathetic masochist? You're here by choice. You've come because you like it. You like the taste of my salty nuts as I pull your shite to pieces. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. Nobody's asked you to come. You're here of your own volition moaning about the treatment you get. What is it, Stockholm Syndrome? Do you like the people who are apparently persecuting you? Yeah, we're laughing at you, you dumb fuck. You've come here to moan about our behaviour towards you. We're just laughing at you, and you're coming here like some pathetic masochist to moan about it. Just piss off. Have some balls. Yeah, if you feel like you're being persecuted, why the hell are you here?
Face. No wonder you've been punched in the face, Nathan. So
But I haven't been punched in the face by anybody in my entire existence on this earth. What are you talking about?
It always comes to
well,
violence.
there's considerable evidence you were punched in the face.
Sorry, there's considerable evidence, is there? Do you want to present this ad hom attack in light of me laughing at your nonsense that we're not tolerating anymore? You're just going to launch into an ad hom based on lies? I've already said no. In my entire existence on the face of this earth, I have never, ever been punched in the face, Rumpus.
You've not been abused by your employer for bad behaviour?
I've never been punched in the face, you lying fuck.
Shut the fuck up.
Just a liar. In the same way, he's more than content to just come here and lie about me personally. He'll lie to you about the nature of your world. Behind his computer. With his namesake that means disruption. While he gets annoyed with us. Yeah, the tables have absolutely turned. After 4 straight years of you being slightly irritating towards us, now you're screaming and swearing back because we won't accept the absolute horseshit you punt here. And then you moan about your treatment when you're here of your own volition, you pathetic beta.
I've exposed you lot not understanding.
You exposed us.
I found it funny.
You've been
how
exposed more
mad
times than
you
Mae
was.
West. You should be straitjacketed and then rubber roomed and horse tranquilized before the personal lobotomy. Everyone knows this except you because you're Dunning-Kruger, clinical level. We all know this.
Yeah. So
anybody, any independent observer.
So why doesn't the gas get weighed on your scale example? Why is that?
Nathan, let me have him, Nathan.
Why doesn't the gas get weighed?
You're going to try and reason with him.
Well, I just want to know. He gave us an example of gas on a scale, and then when I pointed out that gas isn't going down onto the scale to give him a force to assert by way of the weight on the meter on the scale, I want to know why that isn't happening. I mean, I already know the answer. It's because we haven't got a downward vector at 9.8 meters per second. Gas violates that claim.
Yeah,
I've got a demonstration real
Anthony.
world. I want him to explain it.
I thought he was going to
Just
talk.
Give me 2 minutes with Rumpus.
You could try.
You already had 5. I'll let him go ahead. You ready? Go ahead, Anthony.
I had 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rumpus.
We just went
I
through it
haven't
for
had
the
five.
past
I've not
5
even
minutes.
started.
Wanna try
Just give me a
again with
couple of minutes.
Einstein?
Rumpus. Carbon dioxide, more dense or less dense than oxygen and nitrogen?
Well, that's the first time I've heard that.
Yeah, I'll answer that, Anthony, but I really would like to know.
Yeah, just rinse and repeat, right?
Yeah.
I'll answer that, Anthony. I just need a second to ask you about acceleration and velocity.
I just need a few minutes to retain control of the conversation so that it's me asking the questions, because that puts me in the driving seat rather than you, Anthony.
Yeah. Come on, Rumpus. Have a conversation.
Don't be a coward, Rumpus.
I would love.
Don't be a coward. Just answer him.
I would love to answer your question, Anthony.
That's great. He'd love to, Anthony. He's just told us. He'd love to. So go ahead, ask him for a 5th time and see if he absolutely evades it by trying to get control of the conversation again. Let's see if it happens again. Go ahead, Anthony.
Carbon dioxide, Rumpus, is it more dense or less dense than oxygen or nitrogen?
Yeah, Anthony, I did ask you a question first. How about...
Yeah, it's pathetic. Yeah, everyone knows who's in control of the scenario now, Rumpus, and it certainly isn't you.
Anthony,
nothing.
You want to try and reason with him again?
Yeah, I just want a conversation. I want to demonstrate with proof that I wanted to explain that gas
Go ahead,
pressures
Anthony.
act like bouncy balls.
I don't.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to, Rumpus. More dense or less dense?
I mean, you can say you don't want to answer my question if you like. If you really don't want...
Oh, it's the question that's been asked by you, is it? No, we haven't allowed you to do that. So no question's been heard. Your attempts to retain control of this conversation have failed. Yeah? Now, you've also bleated about your treatment, like some masochistic beta. But that hasn't changed anything. Anthony's still asking a question. He's in control of this conversation. But that means that you'll lose. So at all costs, you must regain control. I'm pointing it out as it happens, and it's laughable. It shows how badly you've lost.
More dense
Anthony,
or less dense, Rumpus?
You want to try reason with him again?
Yeah, I want an answer off him. I want to show the audience that there's an issue.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ask again.
Carbon dioxide, Rumpus, more dense or less dense than nitrogen and oxygen?
Well, the trouble is, Anthony, I'm going to get muted very shortly. I know it, so I'm not going to be able to answer.
Why don't you
the
just
way I would
answer the
like.
question, Rumpus?
And I'm not going to get the answer I would like because I know I'm going to be muted or kicked off before you answer my question. So I would really like to know whether you're in with your 4 other people who don't understand the difference between acceleration and velocity.
Shut the fuck up.
See?
I'm not
Needs to
interested.
reduce
I've
it to
said
an
I
ad
don't want to
harm,
answer the
change the
question. I
subject
want to
back
move
onto
on.
his subject. Doesn't want to be answering your question and taking the path that you want to take, Anthony. He's not going to allow you to be in control of the conversation and ask any questions to him, because that will leave him screwed, and he knows it. He must be in the driving seat asking the questions or talking continually so that nobody can hear anything asked of him.
Come on, Rumpus.
You
More
want to
dense
try?
or less dense?
You want to
Carbon
try
dioxide.
again, Anthony?
How many times do you want to try, Anthony?
Until he answers the question, I think it's reasonable.
He won't.
No.
So
okay, well, I'll just sit here. I'll just sit here in
the...
silence, then Rumpus, and no conversation with you. Okay, I'm here if you want me.
He'll claim he's going to add you to a list of people that don't understand a point that we're not allowing
we'll
him
have
to filibuster with.
then,
And what I point that out, he'll talk through me.
Rumpus's question
That's
if
what will
he
happen.
wants. Nathan, if you want, I'll answer his question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Off you go, Rumpus.
Okay, Brian, I'm going to do you understand the difference between...
Hang on, you have to cut out there, Rumpus. I can't hear that in Rumpus.
Take a guess on what he's asking you.
Do you know the difference between acceleration and velocity?
Acceleration and velocity? Well, acceleration is a change in the rate of velocity. That's how it's defined, yeah? So they're not more or less the same thing?
Velocity is a constant.
No, that's not wrong. That's not correct. And
Yeah, it is correct. Acceleration is a change in velocity. Yes, that is correct.
Right, so we can move on to Anthony's question now.
Velocity. He said
I don't want to deprive you of the love you had earlier for Anthony's question. Now that you've got an answer, we'll now see you expressing your love for Anthony's question, won't we? Go ahead, Anthony.
Go ahead, Anthony.
So, carbon dioxide, more dense or less dense, Rumpus?
The actual question was, do you understand?
So he's going to, again, change what is being asked into a question that he's asking, in spite of him getting precisely what he asked for? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll clear it up for him, Nathan. I said, yes, Rumpus, I said acceleration is a change in the rate and velocity. That's what I said. And that is correct. Now, Anthony's question.
It's not the rate of velocity.
Rumpus, play fair. Come on.
The thing is the rate of velocity.
Who cares? What he's attempting to do, I just explain to the audience. He wants to argue about this. If he can manage to get the conversation onto an argument about velocity and acceleration and argue about that, he's not arguing for what he claimed, which is that you get on a scale, it proves gravity. Now, we ask him about gas, but that's going to destroy his argument. So what's his choices? Well, he's got to get control of the conversation first, which he's somehow managed to do. Then he's got to talk about a different subject to argue about, and it's arguing about our understanding of velocity and acceleration, rather than proving that gas go down, go boom, boom, like solid bonded bouncy balls. Now, he's never going to do that because that's not how gas behaves, and it is the end of his argument. But to the audience, it might be, if he's lucky, perceived that arguing about something totally different and maybe getting a perceived win in that argument is him winning the overall point that he lost when we asked him about weighing gas, which he can't do. So he's lost, but he needs to make it seem like he hasn't. That's all he's got from here on in.
Yep.
If you understood the difference between
if you want, Nathan, I'll go for 3 minutes with Rumpus or 4 minutes, as long as Rumpus.
So you're going to try to reason with him.
Address Anthony then.
Yeah, wishful thinking. You reckon you'll get 3? Be my guest, Brian. Why? Go ahead.
Well,
Go
as
ahead,
long
Brian.
as he's willing to give answer Anthony's question then, after 3 minutes.
To be honest, Brian, I think you could probably do it in his absence, because if he doesn't want to do it himself, maybe by proxy you could play Rumpus as like proxy, and then we'll have the conversation me and you instead.
Oh God, that's an insult.
Well, give him a chance, because I'd rather he was able to do it with you. That way, I wouldn't have to pretend to be him. Now, I don't mind doing that.
So you want to try to reason with him again, Anthony?
No, Brian.
I'll go for 3 minutes with him, 3 to 4 minutes, and then as long as Rumpus, you agree to then address Anthony, okay? Is that fair enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
More than
Hold on. Everyone else has got to. First thing, everyone else has got to shut up. Just Brian and Rumpus. Secondly, I give it 20 seconds before he attempts to change the conversation onto a topic he's got control of. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, Rumpus. Okay, I answered your question about velocity and acceleration. So why are you asking that question?
Right, I would like to finish off. You answered it incorrectly, and then there's the follow-up to that. The last part of my question was, do you understand if I throw a ball up at 500 meters per second, that it is still going upwards, slowing down, and therefore it's accelerating down? Let me finish, Brian, nearly there.
It's going upwards, but slowing down, therefore going downwards. So the change in velocity, according to him, which doesn't occur with gases, it happens with bouncy balls, but not gases. But he's saying it's slowing down. No. Gases have elastic collisions. No, they don't slow down. Unless you're going to assert that when they reach the thermosphere and have a massive increase in temperature, that somehow that slows them down in your heliocentric world where they'd be increasing their velocity. But no, they don't. Bouncy balls might do that, but gases don't.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
I didn't even get 10 seconds there. But Brian, here we go again. So
gravity is not a force, Rumpus. There's no mass attracting mass. So that's the end of that. So I don't know.
Brian, I haven't finished the question. Brian, do you understand that if I throw a ball up and it slows down?
We're not talking about balls, you numpty dipshit. We're talking about gases, like Nathan said. Nathan described perfectly what you've done. You've changed it from gases to your little bouncy balls, right? Everyone knows this that can fog a mirror in the audience, right? You're not fooling anyone. You understand that, numpty dipshit?
I was supposed to get 2 or 3 minutes with Brian. I've only had...
Shut up.
And instead you got a few flat earth testicles on your face, as we pointed out that you're equivocating between solid bonded bouncy balls that would indeed return if you could throw them up in the air at the same rate that gas goes at, 500 meters per second upwards. And even if your claim, which isn't true, that it decelerates as it goes up, absolutely not the case in your heliocentric world, where it would reach the thermosphere and increase its velocity in your worldview based on gas behavior. But no, you want to say, like balls, it'll come back down again. Well, no, that doesn't happen. In the case of water vapor, it'll condense and gain the intermolecular bonds that your bouncy balls have already got to change into liquid water to fall back down. But that's dependent on intermolecular bonding forces that are already present in your false equivalence between solid bonded bouncy balls and gases that do not go down, go boom boom at 9.8 meters per second. We have debunked you. Maybe you'd like to accumulate a few little numbers of people who don't understand your false equivalence with bouncy balls coming back down again. Maybe we can do this 10 more times. No, your balls are just flat earthers' balls on your face when we tell you. Gas does not go down, go boom boom.
So, Brian, do you understand?
Sorry, Rumpus.
So, Brian, do you understand if I throw a ball up?
See, he won't stop.
Yeah, but I'll answer. I'll deal with it. Don't worry about it. We'll get past this problem. Okay, Rumpus, say it to me. What is it you're asking me?
Oh, no. You're not. No. You're not chasing after his bouncy balls. We're talking about gas.
Listen, guys, I want to give a real-world example.
I know what he's trying to do.
I want to give a real-world example that even people that are on the fence on our side will realize that Rumpus is incorrect. Let me give the example. Rumpus, it relies on you having an interaction.
I'm still trying to have more than 10 seconds with Brian. So if I could do that, Brian, it'd actually be more than...
No.
Yeah, we didn't give it you because what you did was immediately change the subject onto an argument about velocity and acceleration rather than about gas going down, go boom, boom. And when we bring it back onto gas going down, go boom, boom, you say bouncy balls go down, go boom, boom. That's the end of the argument.
Well, my answer to it would be...
Brian said he would answer my question. I still haven't got the question out yet.
Gas would slow it down.
Is the question about gas or is it about solids?
Mine.
He agreed to answer my question about...
Is it about gases or solids? If it's about solids, things like bouncy balls...
He agreed to answer my question
about solids. Couldn't give a shit. We're discussing gases and how they'd fill the availability of volume of space. Debunking space, right? Because gases don't go down, go boom boom.
Mine's about gas.
Yes, the original question that we got away from 30 minutes ago was Nathan asked him about what? How do you weigh gas on scales? Or how do you weigh gas? Right?
And the acceleration and velocity...
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he needs to argue about that. He doesn't need to argue about our debunking of space. No, he needs to argue about our understanding of velocity and acceleration, because that will not damage his rhetoric of space. But actually arguing about gas go down, go boom, boom, when you've got gas law that pisses in the face of that would be very damaging if he was to argue with us about that. So he can't.
No, he said he can't weigh
I'd love to argue about
the container because it runs around.
Yeah, it runs around in all directions. Yeah, not go down, go boom, boom on the scale. That's right, Neil.
No, he said they run around and in all directions and go down at the same time. That's what he said.
No, I didn't. You don't understand it.
Yeah, I did.
Weird.
Yep, I wrote it down as you said it 5 fucking times.
The acceleration is down, you more.
Shut up.
And it's accelerating up.
As it's moving up?
Yeah. This is the thing that we just laugh at you and people like Thunderfoot. Yeah, because when exampled, you pour bouncy balls into a fish tank or tell us about what bouncy balls do when you say the gas go down, go boom, boom. It doesn't. Starts on the ground and evaporates and then goes up. It's not going down, go boom, boom. And if your claim of it decelerating, which it does not do, was true, it also would not be going down, go boom, boom. And the claim of deceleration also is in a downward vector at 9.8 meters per second. But you seem to think that gas going up is going down because you're thick. And to example it, you'd need to pour bouncy balls or detail what bouncy balls do. And that's not what gas does. Because gas has elastic collisions. It doesn't go down, go boom, boom. It doesn't suddenly decelerate. That's not how gas behaves. Bouncy balls, maybe, but they're solids.
I'll help Anthony out if he wants. Anthony,
So,
you want me to be
Brian,
Rumpus,
does
I'll
a
do it.
ball being thrown up being accelerated?
We don't care. That's a solid. You're thick. You don't know the difference between solids, gases, and liquids. Yeah? Water vapor goes up, no bonds.
This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. I'd like the conversation with Rumpus, but if he's not prepared to, I'm going to have it with Brian instead, and Brian can be Rumpus. It's up to you,
enough
Rumpus.
preamble. Just make your point, Anthony.
No.
Go.
I want to talk with
So,
Rumpus.
Brian, please answer my
I want him
question.
to tell me.
Yeah, hold on. Brian just needs to give me one word. Needs to give me about 5-word answer, then we can move on to Anthony's.
Oh, does he? No, you need to complain and bleat about how you're being treated. Because really, it's actually us. It's us being sadists. It's not you being a pathetic gamma, right? No, it's nothing like that, Rumpus. No, we don't have to do anything. We don't have to answer anything from you. You've got nothing to offer here.
Brian, stand up, man, and answer my question, please.
Your acceleration and velocity question that has nothing to do with gas going down, go boom, boom. Well, that's just an obfuscation tactic that we've pointed out on several occasions. But what, we should still mandatorily do exactly as you tell us and give us the questions to your obfuscation technique? No, we don't have to do that, Rumpus. We'll just point out what you're doing to the audience and then let you do it over and over again and just point out again and again that that's just a tactic to take it away from the actual argument that we're making, that debunks space. Because gas would fill it as it accelerates upwards, not downwards.
Brian, please answer my question.
Please beg Brian for me. Yeah?
I don't even know what the question is, Rumpus. I think it's
Brian, please.
He's literally begging.
It's a
500 meters per second. Does it then?
Beg him. Beg more. Beg more. Beg more.
The acceleration is downwards, Brian, isn't it?
No, it's going up, you thick shit. Gas doesn't go down, it starts at ground level. If it's water vapour, it's already as down as it can possibly be. You're just thick.
What acceleration, Rumpus?
So, Brian, the velocity is up and the
Up. So what, not going down on the scales then? So when he tells us about just get on a scale, the velocity is up. Yeah, we know. Yeah, that's what destroys your argument,
if I throw a ball up,
if you throw a ball up,
you make it accelerate up the way.
So, Brian,
when you throw it up, you make it accelerate up the way. What point of what you're making? What is your claiming? What are you claiming here?
I'm asking you if you understand that when you throw something up, the acceleration is down.
You don't have to throw gas
not
up.
When you throw it up,
he out
you
of his
accelerate it up
Yeah.
the way.
You see, the reason you're having to throw it is because it's a solid, whereas of its own volition, just by the cycles of day and night, gas will go up. You don't have to throw it at all. But in your example, you've got to throw it because it's a ball. It's solid. It's not expanding in all directions of its own volition already. You're inserting energy by throwing it, and you would have to because it's solid. Not comparable to gas, which just evaporates and goes up of its own volition at very high velocity, right? It's not going down, go boom, boom, by the way. Yeah? Not down, up. Velocity up.
So, Brian, do you understand?
And then Nathan, the guy teabagging you. Maybe bleat about your behaviour. Maybe say it's not a debate after you ignore that gas isn't going down, go boom, boom, and we laugh at how stupid that assertion is. Maybe tell me it's not a debate, as I say for the 20th time on this show, that gas doesn't go down. You're not going to be weighing it on a scale, are you? Tell me it's not a debate. Tell me that it's unfair treatment of you who holds the worldview that gas go down, go boom, boom when it doesn't.
Speak up, Brian.
Yeah, you're scared of me now.
Rumpus,
to be honest, you're pathetic, bro.
Hang on, Chocolate. I'll give him the answer. Rumpus, you accelerate the ball up the way when you throw it up because you have to throw it up because it's a solid, as Nathan said. So when you throw it up, you accelerate it up the way because it's heavier than the gas that surrounds it. It then starts going down the way. So it accelerates down the way because you threw it up the way. It's a solid.
So, Brian, it's going upwards and being accelerated downwards, then, isn't it?
Yeah, you've ignored his point about it being solid, though, haven't you, Rumpus? It seems Rumpus has immediately ignored your point, Brian, that it's solid.
Yeah. I know.
Why would that be, Rumpus?
I'm asking about a ball, Brian. I'm asking.
You know, we're pointing out that that's solid, and you seem to be ignoring us. Why are you so scared?
Rumpus, for fuck's sake, I'm getting pissed off.
No,
please talk to me.
Anthony,
let's deal with this.
Can we hear him stutter a bit more?
Anthony, you're a bit
No.
And I think you've understood the question. So let me try it with
I
you. If I
did
throw a ball up,
understand the question, and I answered it. No, you should answer Anthony's question.
He needs to say the same question, though, doesn't he? He needs to say the same thing again to Anthony. Just go around the Rican and say the same thing. That if you throw a ball up, it'll come back down. Therefore, gas will come back down. Go boom, boom. When it's not solid. He'll ignore that bit, though, and just ask the same thing of Anthony that is just asked to Brian and got a response. But the response...
apply it, Rumpus. Rumpus, let's apply it. So we know your position. You think that gas pressure is gases are bouncy balls. Let's apply it. Carbon dioxide, more dense or less dense than nitrogen and oxygen, please?
I'm more than happy to discuss that, Anthony, but I would like my question answered.
We've answered it. So have several people. We've also expanded on the question. That's happened. But what's happened is you won't actually display your love for Anthony's questions. You don't have any love for them. You were a liar.
Anthony, you could resolve this in 5 seconds by answering my question.
Well, like Brian just
5
did.
seconds, go. 5 seconds, go.
Right. If I throw a ball up at 500 meters per second, it slows down. Is the acceleration down while the velocity is up?
Anything that's got a change in acceleration is defined as an acceleration. Anything that's got a change in velocity is defined as an acceleration. Does that answer your question?
That was a great answer, but do you accept, therefore, the acceleration is down while the velocity is up, while I've thrown the ball up?
No, if you're throwing the ball up, the acceleration is up. It would be called a deceleration, wouldn't it?
No, when it's left my hand, then it has been accelerated down. After it's left my hand, it's no upward acceleration anymore. It's just downward acceleration.
So the ball's not going up.
It's still
yes, it's going up.
The ball's not going up, right? You friggin' moron!
Now answer Anthony's question.
The ball is going up, but it's being accelerated down. Do you understand?
Shut up. I'm done with you.
Okay. It's just nonsense. Double speak. Complete contradiction.
Some good sound bites out of him.
I'll do that thing with Anthony now if he wants, because Anthony is getting frustrated.
Good.
Just a simple one. Carbon dioxide molecule. It's more dense than oxygen or nitrogen or the atmosphere, because that's why we have carbon dioxide sensors in the house. And they're always at foot level because it fills the house up with carbon dioxide. So if gas molecules are bouncy balls and they behave like bouncy balls, then you shouldn't get the house filling up with carbon dioxide from the top. However, the odd one might get there because of the way gas behaves. In the real world, a 2-litre bottle of pop, be it Diet Coke or whatever, if you leave the top on, it'll maintain that gas pressure and it'll stay within the liquid. But when you remove the top, over a few hours, it'll start to go flat. Over a day, it'll be flat, and then after 2 days, there's nothing left in it. If gas pressure is supposed to be a bouncy ball and behaves like a bouncy ball, and the molecules in question in carbonated drinks is carbon dioxide, then there could never be an opportunity for the carbon dioxide to escape from the top because it's more dense than the air above it. So it should always retain some gas pressure inside the bottle of pop. But the pop comes off and it all evaporates after time, or it all releases, the gas pressure escapes. So I'd like Rumpus to explain to me, why is it that if we're in a gravitational field, does gravity not pull on the gas molecules that are inside the drink and retain some gas pressure? And why does it go completely flat? Because it can't go out if molecules are bouncy balls. It has to stay inside because there's nowhere for it to go. But it does go out. So it debunks the claim that the molecules are particles and behave like bouncy balls. And it debunks the claim that gravity, bearing in mind that we're in a gravitational field, it debunks the claim that gravity is acting on them because it's letting them go. Can he explain why?
I'm pretty sure bouncy balls don't expand in all directions.
They don't, no. That's right.
Gas does, though.
That's correct, yes.
It wanders off.
Runs around. It runs around and round and round.
False equivalence. So to detail his answer, he would say, well, would you accept that if I throw a ball in the air, it'll eventually come back down again? Well, because a ball will do that, so will gas. That would be his answer.
But a gas is not a ball.
That's correct. And as I detailed,
if a gas was a ball, it would stay in the drink because gravity would pull on it, and it's more dense than the medium around it, and it's more dense than the air above it. So the bouncy ball must stay in the drink, but it doesn't actually do that. So how does the molecule that's more dense than the air escape if gas pressures behave like bouncy balls and gravity is a force?
Because gas does not behave like solid bonded
Maybe
bouncy
you should
balls.
just get to the root of the problem and ask, is a molecule a ball?
Because I'm appealing to Nathan's audience so that those that are not quite sure understand the bottle of pop synology, whatever the word is, because the gas pressure can't escape if gas molecules are bouncy balls.
Wait, are you saying that's why they sell bottles of soda, or like you say, pop with lids?
Yeah,
vacuum sealed. Oh,
yeah, because the gas escapes. Yeah, the gas
and then
is
when I
more
open
dense
it,
than the air.
and then when I open it, it goes, and that's the higher pressure in there trying to come out, right?
Yeah, and if you leave the top off, the gas escapes, doesn't it? Why does it do that if gas molecules are bouncy balls?
That's the
What,
worst.
what direction does the gas in that can have to go to leave the can, Anthony?
It defies gravity, chocolate. It goes up. Yeah,
Well,
being
how
more
could it
dense.
do that if gravity is a force that contains
that's my question.
gas?
So
That's
for,
weird.
for Chocolate and
soda
Sleeping
goes
Warrior.
flat like flat Earth.
So for Chocolate and Sleeping Warrior, if I put a scale next to the pop, right, will the gas fall down, go boom boom onto the scale to prove that there's a downward vector 9.8 meters per second?
That's
It should do if they're bouncy balls.
They're bouncy balls, right? They'll come back down, right?
You mean after it went up to leave the can in the first place?
Well, presumably, right, it's going to go up, right? But then, like a bouncy ball, it's going to hit the ceiling in your house and come back down and fall on the scales, isn't it?
No.
Well, it would do if they were bouncy balls, Nathan.
Yeah. If I throw a bouncy ball up in my house and there's a scale next to it, right? Hypothetically, it's going to fall back down and land on the scale. Yeah, maybe after 1,000 attempts. But ultimately speaking, you know, one of them's going to land and stop on the scale. Well, will you have that with your carbon dioxide example? Will at some point some of the carbon dioxide fall down, go boom boom? Because obviously it's not going to go up forever because there's a ceiling in the way.
The question really is, how does it escape the bottle in the first place if they behave like bouncy balls? Because it's more dense
Because
than the
it's
medium around
accelerating
it.
down the way. That's how it's escaping.
Let's just follow
But
the
it's
analogy
moving
through.
upward.
No, it's okay.
No, it's
let's follow the analogy through, which is to say, yeah, okay. So the bottle of pop is like you throwing a bouncy ball. So it throws up a bit of gas out of the pop bottle, right? And it goes up, and like a bouncy ball, it's going to hit the ceiling and come back down. But eventually it's going to come to rest on the ground, isn't it? Because that's what bouncy balls do. They come to rest on the ground. So therefore, that's what gas will do, won't it? Come to rest on the ground. Oh no, that's not what gas does at all.
Yeah, because gas moves in all directions at high speeds, correct?
Yeah, fundamentally not like bouncy balls at all.
Because of intermolecular bonds, right?
Yeah. So in the same way as your steam goes up, so it evaporates, right? The loose bonds that it's got when it's liquid are broken. It then goes up as gas. And then when it gets to the point where there's enough intermolecular bonds for it to be more dense than the air that's surrounding it, it will fall back down again. But that takes the intermolecular bonds to form. In other words, the gas itself never falls down, go boom, boom, at all.
Right. So it builds intermolecular bonds, then it attains the average density of the volume it is in. So it has to increase density, and then relative density brings it back down because it is denser than the medium it is in, even though when it arrived, it was less dense than the medium it was in.
Correct. Unlike a bouncy ball, which they don't coalesce on the ground and suddenly shoot up at 500 meters per second. Bouncy ball behavior isn't like that. But the gas behavior as it condenses would be to send that condensed gas, which is then formed into liquid water, back down with intermolecular bonds, helping it on its way. But Rumpus's example starts with something that's not even got loose bonds like liquid. It's got very rigid bonds in the form of a bouncy ball, far more dense than the air that it's going to be thrown through. So it's like, let's ignore the air we throw this solid through and say that the solid moving through the air that we're exampling can't be weighed on a scale. Then we'll ignore that. The fact that that's the reason it's going to come back down again, because it's significantly more dense, thanks to the bonds that are holding lots and lots of them all together at once. Well, we'll ignore that because gas is like bouncy balls, right, Rumpus? Yeah? It'll come out of the pop bottle and fall because it hits the ceiling and comes back down and comes to rest like bouncy balls on the ground. Because we all have to sweep up gas. Oh, I'm forever sweeping up gas. The damn stuff's just like bouncy balls. It's always falling down, go boom, boom. No, nobody's sweeping gas up. Absolutely bloody absurd to assert that gas behaves like bouncy balls. Only thick retards like PhD Thunderfoot Clown and Rumpus, the nameless, faceless clown, come here and assert that gas behaves like bouncy balls. Well, that would imply that it eventually comes to rest and you have to sweep it up. Absolutely absurd.
And I always thought that vacuum cleaners were for the heavy gas bouncy balls coming down.
Vacuums are only existence because they have to suck up all the gas that's gone down, go boom, boom. It's a real problem.
Exactly. Although I'm pretty sure that it's actually dust, which is not a gas. That it is.
I'd like to interrupt.
And it uses the gas pressure differential to displace it into the gas vacuum cleaner. So
that's great.
Okay.
I have a point of order, Your Honor. A congratulations needs to go out for one of our regular members here.
Okay.
Acum Virus has graduated the Jose JG Retard Show.
Wow, now he's going to be worse than ever.
Oh my God! So he's finally going to stop
I've
nagging
been on there
us?
before.
Can you give him a break?
Congratulations is in order.
No, it's not. I've been on there before. Thanks.
Right. Virus is one of the few people that will actually stay on topic and doesn't necessarily descend it into ad homs. Or at least 90% of the time he doesn't. So, cut him some slack.
So,
How y'all
Acum
doing?
Virus, when you throw a ball up, it has a velocity upwards and an acceleration downwards at the same time. Is that correct?
It's possible, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What you throw a ball up, right?
Mhm.
It's possible to go up and then go down at the same time. You're an idiot.
The acceleration doesn't mean that it's going down. It means it's
Really?
slowing
So the
down.
velocity, it decelerates. It's not going down.
Acceleration goes in both directions.
I know, but this one's not.
Ball's going up.
So something can go up and have an acceleration going down.
Well, that's a contradiction in terms. It's a contradiction in terms, Virus.
No, it can go in all directions in the math, not in the physical world. In the physical world, it can only move in one direction at the same time.
Okay, just to prove the point of what Rumpus was saying with that. When you throw something up and you're not constantly adding a force to it, that means it can accelerate in the other direction.
It is decelerating.
Decelerating.
Oh, God.
Acceleration goes in both directions.
Yeah,
Decelerating.
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Okay,
Accelerating.
Okay, hold on. Let me say it this
Hello?
way.
Virus.
Acceleration can.
Hello?
Shut the fuck up.
Hello? Less up. That would be decelerating. It's not got down and up. It's just getting less and less up.
Acceleration. Okay, acceleration is negative and positive change in velocity.
You guys know deceleration's a word, right?
That's math. That's
you guys okay? What the fuck's going on?
Dude,
he's applying math to
physics.
force
Deceleration
and acceleration.
Deceleration is still a form of acceleration.
Oh, that's
sorry.
profound.
What? Deceleration.
Go
is,
ahead.
deceleration is a form of acceleration. Did you just say?
Acceleration is positive and negative change in velocity. It's just a change in velocity.
I think he's right. He's kind of right about that.
No.
He is.
We know. But a ball which has a velocity upwards and decelerates is not going down just yet.
Acceleration doesn't mean it's.
Shut the fuck up. You're
Yes,
a
it
moron.
does. Yes, it does.
Go back
But
to
I
Jose
know
JG
I know why they want to bring in the acceleration word, though, even though it kind of contradicts the direction and all that. It's because they want to latch on to that idea that there's this force going in acceleratory fashion in a certain direction, which
No,
downward.
really?
That's
Jesus,
exactly
Arwin,
what
I'm
it is.
so
I
glad
mean,
you're here.
Think about it.
You know what, Arwin? If you weren't here, none of us would have figured that out.
I'm very happy to help out. I know it's great. You just
Let me
hear,
try to
have to
reason
hear
with
the
them.
nonsense over and over again, and eventually you'll
So
forget
to be
common
clear,
sense.
you're saying they want to assume automatically that there's a downward force as well. Wow, that's profound.
You don't say.
Let me try. Can I try to reason with him?
Who? Arwin?
Go ahead.
No, Ackham.
I was joking. Go ahead, yeah.
That's funny. That's funny.
All right, Ackham virus. I
What's
throw a ball. It has a velocity upward, and its rate begins to slow down. Is it accelerating downward as it's still going up, losing its rate?
As it's losing its rate, it is accelerating down.
Okay, okay, guys, just calm down. Let me expand on that. Okay, so in the inverse situation, once it's reached its peak and then heads back down again, is it also accelerating up?
No, because it's not slowing down.
So,
so when it's falling down, it's decelerating upwards? No, only if it's slowing down.
Okay, no worries. Okay, no worries. So as you throw it then,
down as it's moving up.
As you throw it upwards then, Virus, and you're
hold on.
increasing.
What do y'all call
best of
acceleration?
mute me, right? So as you throw it up and it's increasing its velocity, is it also accelerating down?
Dude, what are y'all calling acceleration? Are y'all just y'all just making acceleration?
Acceleration is a change in velocity, right?
Yeah, so
it has a vector and a rate. Velocity does, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so we know what it is.
Oh God!
So
I'll try and explain if you'll allow me.
Why are y'all...
You've asked, but you won't shut up. Imagine that from your hand at 0, it then is thrown in the air and increases its velocity to 500 meters per second. So it's going from 0 to 500 meters per second. And in that time period, as it's accelerating, bearing in mind you've just told us because it's decelerating, it doesn't have an upward vector. When it's accelerating upwards, because you've thrown it up to 500 meters per second, does it have a downward vector when it's accelerating up?
If it's accelerating up and going faster and faster going up, then no, it doesn't have a downward vector.
Welcome to Flat Earth. Gravity debunked. So no downward vector then. So upon acceleration, gravity doesn't exist then, Virus.
You know I don't agree with that.
Sorry, don't agree. You've just told us. No downward vector.
If it's accelerating up.
Yeah, that was my question now being repeated. That's right. And according to you, no gravity.
No, that's not true.
Well, you've just told us. Upward acceleration, then no downward vector. That's what you've just told us. What do you mean you don't believe it? That's what you told us.
You gave me a very specific situation, and I answered your question.
Right, that was the whole context. It's accelerating upwards. That was the whole context. How do you not get that?
So if
I got that. That's why
it's okay, Virus. No worries. Let's just conclude if you can bear it. So you're saying if up, going up, then not going down. I mean, this is fucking profound. I mean, my 3-year-old could understand this. But if up, not down, you understand this very simple concept that if you're moving up, you're not moving down then.
Okay, accelerating downward doesn't mean that you're moving down. It means that you're...
Yeah, we know. So gravity debunked then. Gravity debunked then.
You might want to tell Lumpus that, because that's what he's trying to tell us the whole time.
Your situation didn't provide gravity.
My situation? No, all we're doing is throwing a ball.
Is it okay? If you're just throwing a ball, it's accelerating when it's in your hand. As soon as you let go, if gravity takes hold of that, that means it's accelerating back down.
When it's going up,
it's slowing down.
So let me get it straight. As soon as it leaves your hand and is increasing velocity, that would be accelerating. Upwards.
It can't increase velocity if it has left your hand. What is the force that is pushing it up?
You throwing it. We're past that, Virus. This has suddenly gone beyond the point of
you've
your
already let
low
go
level
of
of
it.
comprehension. It's now like you're pretending to be stupid. Yeah, we're throwing a ball in the air.
You've already let go of it.
Yeah, we're throwing a ball.
If you let go of it,
yeah,
what's
fun
providing
mute the entire
force?
time, I would. Maybe talk non-stop, so we can't get clarity. Yeah, you're more like Rumpus than you know. So, we've already had clarity from you, Virus. If it's accelerating upwards, it's not being forced downwards. Like I say, fucking profound.
Okay, if it's not accelerating up, but it's
No, it is, you dumb fuck. Why are you now saying if it isn't, we're throwing a ball up in the fucking air? Yeah, it's accelerating up to 500 meters per second because apparently that makes it analogous to gas if we give it the same speed. So we're going to accelerate the ball, Virus.
You gonna fundy mute me? You're not gonna let...
Yeah. So I'm going to fundy mute you if, like a wanker, I describe something being accelerated and you say if it's not accelerating immediately after the description of it accelerating from your hand up to 500 meters per second, because somehow using a solid ball and accelerating it to that velocity makes it analogous to gas in Rumpus's example. However, according to you, upon accelerating upwards, not accelerating after I point it out, like you've just done, and then claimed I'm fundy muting you, because you're a wanker, who, after having detailed that we're going to accelerate something upwards, you say if it's not accelerating, making you a wanker. Comprende, wanker?
Okay, now can I finish?
What? Addressing the fact that you've already debunked gravity by saying if it's accelerating upwards, there's no downward vector being applied. Yeah, we already know that, and so do most 3-year-olds. It's profound. If up, not down. Wow, how profound. We know.
Your situation does not involve gravity because it's accelerating upward.
Oh, I see. So if something's accelerating upwards, no gravity. Pretty much exactly what we just clarified with you, and you've just decided that you're going to argue against. Maybe do a bit of fundy muting while I'm clarifying exactly that again. Maybe if I repeat it back to you, you'll deny it again. It's called cognitive dissonance, by the way. So even though you've just clarified what I've just clarified, you'll fundy mute it being clarified a second time. So yeah, if up, not down, therefore no gravity. Maybe say that gravity's not applicable. Yeah, that's our point. Maybe then deny it because you're laden with cognitive dissonance, Virus.
Hold on, let this phone stop ringing. Okay, now look, you won't let me finish my situation. You keep cutting me off. If you let go of the ball, there is no more force being applied to it. Why is it accelerating up?
Because you threw it, you dumb shit.
What's the force that's making it go faster?
Are you on
once
a
it left
fucking
your
laugh?
hand?
Are you serious? Why is it accelerating? Because you fucking threw it. Are you thick? Are you really asking this for the second time after I shut you down the first? Now you're going to fundy fucking mute me, you stupid shit. Yeah, irritating. Why is it accelerating? Because you fucking threw it, you dumb shit. What is your malfunction, shit for brains?
If it left your...
Did I answer your question, shit for brains? Do you need me to humiliate you for a few more minutes? Maybe moan about the treatment you're receiving after asking me why it's accelerating after you've thrown it? You dumb fuck.
Why are you cutting me?
Because you're a dumb fuck who thinks it's a necessity to interrupt me while I answer the question, why is it accelerating after I've thrown it? You dumb shit. Because you threw it. How fucking thick are you? Meanwhile, no effect of gravity according to your declaration. If accelerating up, no down. How profound.
Dude, I didn't know you could negate gravity by moving upward. That's awesome.
No, okay. So if you let go after applying your force, you let go. Now what is applying a force to make it go faster after you let go?
Virus, I caught you. I know what you're doing. You're saying you have the ball in your hand and you let go, and that's your acceleration downwards. Nathan is saying if you throw it up.
What? What? No.
If you throw the
when
ball
you throw
in
it,
your hand,
you're applying a force to it, which makes it accelerate upward. Once you let go...
Excellent. So we're all clear then. It's going to be accelerating upwards because you threw it. So you've answered your own dumb shit question. Well done. Yeah, so it's going to have a force applied and then it's going to accelerate upwards. So we're all clear accelerating upwards then, dumb shit. And we know why, because you've thrown it. Just a stupid obfuscatory question that didn't take us anywhere and just demonstrated how thick you are. Why is it accelerating? Could it be because I threw it?
Answer. Okay.
No, okay, you dumb shit. Now you get told off for being so unbelievably stupid. Why would you ask me when I'm pointing out that you've already debunked the claim that there's a downward vector that's always in action, 9.8 meters per second? You assert that if it's being accelerated upwards, obviously it can't be going downwards. Therefore debunking gravity, and now we're on to you asking me for the second time, with me getting annoyed at how stupid it is, to ask why it's accelerating upwards in the first place, when the example calls for us throwing it. It's just stupid. You are stupid. And you're being made that way by people like Rumpus.
So when you throw a ball in the air, it goes faster and faster after it left your hand?
No, when we release gas, it goes in all directions and doesn't go down, go boom, boom in any way, shape or form. And that would make your space sky vacuum debunked, because gas would fill it. Balls, on the other hand, is what Rumpus wants to talk about. So dicks like you can ask why balls are accelerating after you've fucking thrown them. That's why he's talking about balls, because dumb shits like you bite on his nonsense.
Yeah, dicks talk about balls all day long.
Still want to talk about balls, Virus? Because we were talking about gas. But yeah, you've bitten on Rumpus's nonsense about solid, bonded, bouncy balls when we detail how the gas that expands in all directions and doesn't go down, go boom, boom like your balls, that'd just be us teabagging you, mate. We're talking about gas. It doesn't behave like balls. Comprende? Thick shit. You don't even understand why a ball accelerates after you throw it. You're going to ask a flat earther why it accelerates after you throw it. That's how stupid you are. We understand how gas behaves. You don't understand how a ball behaves.
You don't understand acceleration.
You had to ask me why a ball accelerates after you throw it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because you're dumb as shit. You literally have to ask why a ball accelerates after you've thrown it. That makes you thick as shit.
So you're telling me it's going faster and faster as it goes up after it left your hand. That's what.
Yeah, that's what acceleration is.
Wow, Nathan.
Hello, that is what acceleration is.
Wow, Nathan.
Sorry, something increasing its velocity, getting faster and faster, as you just phrased it. And I point out that it is, by definition, acceleration. My answer is wow, Nathan. What, wow, you are thick as shit? Yet we all know. Are you exasperated about your own stupidity?
Is everybody else backing this?
Acceleration, Virus.
Chocolate, are you backing this?
What's the definition of acceleration, Virus?
So after the ball has left his hand, it's going faster and faster up.
That's accelerating, you dumb shit!
You're backing this, Chocolate?
After I get in my car and I push the accelerator pedal, my car gets faster and faster because I push the accelerator pedal. I wonder why they call it an accelerator pedal. Is it because it makes the car go faster and faster?
Change velocity. It's a change in velocity. That's what acceleration is. It don't matter which way.
So getting faster and faster would be a change in velocity, would it not?
It can also go slower and slower.
Yeah, it matters.
What do they usually call going slower and slower?
So he thinks that throwing a ball, in this example, to reach a target velocity of 500 meters per second, as per Rumpus's example, is getting slower and slower. That's what he's asserting. It's a decrease in velocity. He's thick.
Yes.
He's thick.
That's a change in velocity.
No, it's increasing velocity. But as I pointed out when you claimed I was fundy muting you, you said if it's not accelerating. Yet you're a double-speaking, cognitive dissonance-laden fundy. You're talking about two positions simultaneously, dick brain. And then when I point it out, you ask me why the thing's accelerating. Well, what? You mean, why is it debunking your claim of gravity, down, go, boom, boom? Well, if it's not accelerating, was your reply. And then we get to you explaining how it's getting faster and faster after it releases your hand. Why? Well, because you've thrown it, but you also needed clarity for that, you dumb shit.
He doesn't even know.
It's not going faster and faster.
Up what direction it's accelerating. He won't even give it a direction when he himself.
Yeah, it's accelerating. It's accelerating down.
Accelerating or decelerating the moment it
direction.
leaves the barrel.
Okay.
Depends on which direction. It might going to
only in one
decelerate because of
direction.
air pressure and stuff like. Air
Is
velocity.
a bullet decelerating or accelerating from the moment that it leaves the barrel?
Just answered.
You
I literally just answered that.
You know, they used to have those ads when they'd show a zoned out person and they'd say, don't do drugs, kids, as the example. This would be, don't believe in the globe because this is what it does to you. You're our example. You're the equivalent of the 2 fried eggs in the frying pan. That's the metaphorical equivalent with globe belief with you. This stupid shit you're spouting and having to ask us about why a ball accelerates after you've thrown it, that is the level of stupidity you descend to with ball belief.
Yeah, what force is going to it after you let go?
It is pretty sad, Virus, that, I mean, there are kids
What
that know the
force is
difference
being
between
applied
acceleration
after you let
and
go?
deceleration.
Why is it going faster after you let go?
Atom virus. What is causing the ball to decelerate?
You might want to have them define that first, because apparently that's not a thing, according to these guys now.
Acceleration is what? A change in velocity. It doesn't say it has to be a positive change in velocity.
What kind of change in velocity, Virus? What kind of a change? Is it a?
It's just a change in velocity,
or is it a decrease, Virus?
Acceleration is just a change in velocity. That's it.
What kind of a change? Is it an increase or a decrease in velocity?
It's both. It's a change in velocity.
It's both. Wow. Are you serious?
So when you throw it up,
by definition, he's
so
correct.
hold on. What's
One person
the
at a time,
definition
please.
of deceleration?
What you think?
I mean, what I think. I'm asking you.
He's asking you.
Y'all don't. Let me get a citation for acceleration as a positive change in velocity and not negative. Citation, please.
No, Atom virus is correct. As a definition, the word acceleration is just
listen to what he's
change in
saying,
velocity
man.
over time. Whether it's making something go faster or whether it's acceleration, deceleration. But deceleration is when it's slowing down.
When I'm slowing down, I'm accelerating. Okay.
Yes, because it's a change in velocity.
It's just defined as the same. It's just defined as acceleration as a definition.
Not really, because acceleration defined is the opposite of that.
Yeah, I
Listen
understand.
to Brian. He
Acceleration
knows.
describes going faster. Deceleration describes slowing down. But acceleration, as a general term, is defined as a change in the rate of velocity over time.
Yeah, but
Right,
hold on, Brian.
hang on. But he
No,
won't-
not
you
you.
hold on.
You hold
Arwen.
on. You
You've
hold
been
on.
talking all day.
Deceleration is not a
Look
decrease
at how
in
rude
velocity.
Arwen is.
It's a stabilization of the speed. It stops, slows down, going faster to go a stable speed. That's deceleration. Acceleration is going faster. Deceleration is stopping to go faster, going stable. That's what deceleration is.
Citation, please.
Steady speed. Right?
Well, no. What a deceleration is not. Deceleration is just acceleration in the negative. Atom virus is correct about that. Because you can decelerate from 100 miles an hour slowly down to 10 miles an hour. So you're not moving at a constant rate.
That would be negative then, right?
Yeah.
Negative.
Right, but my point,
Thank you, my
my
good
point,
friend.
Brian,
Thank
is
you.
that when we ask
They're saying that a deceleration is an acceleration in the opposite direction to what you're moving.
Rams 10th was just talking.
Thank you. The point was when he
Thank
has the
you.
ball in
Thank
his
you.
hand and he hasn't let go, so it's not falling. He hasn't thrown it up. It's just in his hand. It's steady at this point. Nothing's happening. When we said, what happens when you throw it up? I want him to say that's deceleration or acceleration. Answer that one, Byers.
Okay, can we just have a discussion? I don't want to be overtalked. I'm not trying to prove
You
anybody
just
wrong.
answered the basic question I just asked.
When you
If
throw
the ball
something
is in
up,
your
if it
hand.
is slowing down, it is still accelerating down.
If a ball
That's
is in your
just what
hand
it
and you
is.
throw it up, you're saying it's accelerating down?
Yeah, it's just
If
stupid.
it is, let me say that. If you throw a ball in the air, it starts slowing down. That means it's accelerating down.
No, not when it reaches the apex and loses the momentum.
I'm not talking about when it
saying
reaches
when
the
you-
apex. Get what I'm saying? Get what I'm saying? I'm not saying nothing about no apex.
You're not listening.
When it slows down, it is accelerating down.
Okay.
When you first throw it up, what's happening?
Which part? The part where you let go or the part where you're still holding it?
Up. When you first
Which
launch
part? Are you
it's
still
when you
holding
let
it, or have you let go?
Hang on. This I clear it up. This is why I asked my question, but I didn't get any answer out of him. I converge. You didn't answer my question. What causes the ball to decelerate? That's the only question that matters.
Oh, I answered that. Wait.
Wait, Grant. So not gravity.
Can you repeat it? Hello?
Yeah, I answered that question. It was weight.
Wait, so not gravity then.
Correct calculation.
Okay. So weight makes it go down.
Thank you.
With the ball.
Weight is the force going down.
I see. And how do you weigh a gas?
You can use this mass to calculate it. I mean, it's different ways of doing it.
Can you name one?
I just did. You can use this mass.
Use its mass. That's not a description of how you weigh gas. Use its mass doesn't tell me anything.
That's one of your answers. That's just what it is. If you don't like it, you don't have to.
No, I don't like it. How do you weigh a gas?
That's fine.
So if I go to a chemist and
I
say
just
I
told
need
you.
a certain amount of oxygen, got a dying patient, and he says, how would you like that oxygen? I need to tell the chemist, use its mass to calculate how much of it you're giving me. Is that what I should tell the chemist?
No, not if you want a whole bunch of it. No.
So how would I
But if
weigh
you just want
a
to weigh a
gas?
gas, but let me finish. If you just want to weigh a gas to see
Yeah.
how much it weighs,
Yeah.
you could use this math.
And how would I do that?
Calculate its mass. I mean, use this mass to calculate its weight. I mean,
Define mass.
You know what weight is.
Define mass.
Sorry, I just need to know how I weigh a gas. If gravity is defined as its weight, thing's weight, the reason the ball comes back down is because of its weight, then how do I weigh gas? Is my question.
Use this mass with the acceleration going down.
Use its mass? That doesn't mean anything.
You know there's a difference between mass and weight. Do you understand that?
Duh. Yes. Duh.
Then why do you keep on saying use its mass then?
Okay.
Duh.
How do I weigh a
Because you
ball?
use this mass to calculate its weight.
Look,
I'm not saying
it's
duh,
easy,
if
guys.
you-
It's
that's
easy.
not
It's
saying
easy
the same
because these two
thing.
things are comparable.
Duh.
They're analogous. Hello. Apparently, according to Rumpus, gas is just like bouncy balls, right? So,
I don't think that's what he was saying.
oh really? I'm pretty certain that that's what he was saying.
Okay, can I kind of throw an idea out there? Maybe what he was
While
saying.
I'm trying to
not
point
saying
something
he's
out,
this is right or
no,
wrong, but can I
stop.
throw an idea out there?
No. So,
Okay,
according
never
to
mind. I guess you
Rumpus,
don't
while
wanna
I make
learn
my
that then.
example
Let's
that
have a
seems to now be
discussion,
getting
bruh. This ain't a
muted,
debate.
why would that be, Virus? Why would it be that I'm obviously about to make an example and you're stopping it, coward? I'll try again. So, according to Rumpus, gases are like solid, bonded bouncy balls. Now, if you don't like me saying Rumpus, I've got a much more credible source that says exactly that. Thunderfoot Clown, PhD, says gas go down because it's like bouncy balls. Yeah? Do you need me to play a clip of him fucking saying it? No, I think we can forego that and just understand implicitly that you dicks who believe in a globe think gas is like bouncy balls. I'll also add that it makes you fuckwits. And then I'll make my example. You don't need to comment on that. You don't need to comment on it. You don't need to comment on it. You are fuckwits.
Okay.
However, you fuckwits who think gas is like bouncy balls, right? Think gas is like bouncy balls. How do we weigh a bouncy ball? Anybody? Anybody at all?
With a container.
No, we don't need a container for a bouncy ball. We can just put it on a scale, can't we?
No. But I thought gas was gas.
Arwin, for the love of fuck, does this seem like a comedic moment you need to take advantage of? How do we weigh a bouncy ball?
Put it on
a scale.
Right. So, by comparison, because gas is like bouncy balls, according to fuckwits, we're going to put gas on a scale, Virus. My bad, it seems to have fucked off into the availability of volume of whatever space it had to fill. It didn't stay on the scale. It's not like a bouncy ball then, because it's not doing what bouncy balls do when it comes to weighing them. Do you understand, Virus?
First of all, how sensitive is this scale?
Sorry, it's
For you to
sensitive
put
enough
one
for me
atom-
to put...
for you to
Oh,
put-
maybe you could answer your own question.
Yes.
Maybe answer your own question? How sensitive is the scale?
Let me finish.
Maybe you could answer the question and then answer it yourself. How sensitive is the scale?
Finish the question.
Maybe you could then fundy mute me attempting to answer your dumb shit question indefinitely.
Question. I didn't finish the question.
How sensitive is the scale? Pause. That's a question with a full stop at the end of it, as far as I can tell.
Why would you answer a question I didn't finish?
How sensitive is the scale? It's sensitive enough to know when a fucking bouncy ball's put on it.
That's not sensitive enough.
Not sensitive enough for gas, but yet bouncy balls it is, so they're not like bouncy balls then. Because obviously if a scale needs to be far more sensitive for gas than bouncy balls. So, okay, I've now gone and acquired the world's most sensitive scale. And I've poured gas on it and it's still fucked off into the availability of volume it had to fill virus. You dumb shit. It didn't behave like a bouncy ball.
If you're pouring gas onto it, it's going to read that.
No, it didn't.
Wait a minute, how did you just say that and not realize that?
Oh, right. I opened the canister and it did just fucked off into the availability of volume. It just went psst and then filled the availability of volume. It didn't pour onto the scales.
You just said you poured it on the scale.
No, you can't do that.
That
with
was
gas.
your situation.
Yeah, that's the problem with
it. Nathan put it on the scale. Gas,
bro.
Yeah, he said that. Yeah.
So you're saying that situation is not possible?
Yeah, Nathan said that we can put gas on the scale.
So then how would you weigh the gas, Virus?
He poured it on the most sensitive scale.
How would you weigh it?
It's going to read.
I see. So you think gases can pour onto scales? Do you?
Sorry. It's going to be reading everything. It's going to be reading all the air in the air too. It's going to be reading every molecule in the air as well. It's hitting it too. It's the world's most sensitive scale.
Really? Okay. Well, I'm going to pour the steam from a boiling kettle onto the scale. Oh no, it didn't go down.
I don't think that's going to work.
Oh really? It's not going to work. Why not? Gas go down, go boom boom. It's just like bouncy balls. A PhD called Thunderfoot said it goes down. He showed us bouncy balls going down. What do you mean the steam that I pour onto the world's most sensitive scale won't show anything? What do you mean that won't work?
Hot. It's hot steam.
Oh, right. So if heat, no gravity. So does heat overcome gravity then?
No, it's less.
No! Yo! How do my fucking balls taste, retard? Yeah, so your world's most sensitive scale can't weigh gas because heat overcomes gravity, right?
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't, does it? No. It's just that gas isn't going down, go boom boom. It's not behaving like balls. Fuckwit.
It's not. What?
Not behaving like balls, that's right. When Rumpus, a lying scumbag globe-believing fundy, tells you to think of gas like balls, it isn't. But you defending that nonsense makes you a fuckwit who believes retards like Rumpus and then gets teabagged by me. But you're fuckwittery.
No, you...
Yeah, that's what's happened. Yeah, I've given you an example with the world's most sensitive scale, and a kettle didn't give us a readout, and according to you, it's because of heat. What, so you're begging the question fallacy of downward vector that didn't occur was overcome by heat? No, it just didn't go down, go boom boom, and behave like bouncy balls. It's a false equivalence that fuckwits like PhD Thunderfoot and Rumpus make.
The atoms pretty much do act like balls.
Oh, really? So I pour steam and it goes down, go boom boom like bouncy balls, does it, fuckwit?
Yeah, at room temperature.
Oh, yeah? You think steam go down, go boom boom, fuckwit? You are thick.
Steam is heat.
Not going down, go boom boom.
Room temperature.
Not going down, go boom boom. You thick shit. Yeah, you and Thunderfoot, mate. You and Thunderfoot, same boat. Thick as shit. Yeah, steam is not going down. It's not like bouncy balls poured into a fish tank. You, a thicko, and PhD Thunderfoot, a retard, and Rumpus, a moron, all think gas go down, go boom boom, and make examples of what balls do. That's not what gas does. You are just a fuckwit.
Hey, Nathan, do us.
Hey, how do my balls taste, Virus? Yeah? Maybe tell my audience how much you like it here. Big me up, man. Tell my audience, like you do in the chat, how much you like me.
Take your balls out your ears.
Sorry, do you want to grovel, you brown-nosing little shit? Tell me how much you like me. yeah, fun, eh? Yeah, it's fun. Yeah?
It's funny.
yeah, you brown-nosing little shit in my chat telling them all how much you like me. How'd you like me now, fuckwit?
Balls in mouth. That's so funny.
I love you, Nathan. You're awful.
Yeah, you know it. Because you're all masochists. You love my balls on your face. It's pathetic. Yeah, you love me teabagging you. Gas doesn't go down, go boom, boom. I love you, Nathan.
Sounds kind of like...
Ask that again. Wow. Ask that again.
How we roll here now. Flat Earthers are going to be humiliating globe believers for their abject stupidity. That's how it rolls now.
Get your balls off your face, Nathan.
And they don't see it.
That might
That's
help
the
you.
funny thing.
Do you not tell the tables have turned? Do you not hear the disdain and anger in Rumpus's voice while he starts swearing at us? To accept that up is down?
Yeah, he got real mad today.
Yeah, real angry.
Yeah,
just accept that balls go down. Yeah, what about gas? They're like balls! So we can weigh them on a scale.
He even said a cuss word.
I thought my answer to how do you weigh balls was pretty good, though.
Balls taste, Nathan.
Have we got...
Your timing's terrible, Arwin. The joke was good, the timing was bad.
I know, but I
now?
tried to relieve some tension because, like, Akuma Virus, he's not going to get it. He doesn't want to get it.
There's no tension here.
It was okay,
We're
Arwen.
perfectly calm.
Have we
It's
got rid of
okay,
it now?
Arwen. It was
Just
funny.
On our people on our side, right?
Again, Anthony.
We've got rid of the blurthers now. It's just our lot, right?
No. Virus is a blurther.
I just wanted to go through the bottle of pop scenario, but I don't think that they're ready for it. I just wanted to run it by our lot first.
That's my shit, man.
Pop. The pop's a perfect example. You open the pop, the gas goes down, go boom, boom onto a scale for sweeping up later, does it, Anthony? It's a perfect example. Nothing to get.
Yeah, it's the release of the carbon dioxide that's more dense than the air around it. Yet somehow it seems to defy gravity and it doesn't stay inside the container, which you would expect it to if it was a bouncy ball.
Indeed.
Yeah, it comes out and it mixes in with all the rest of the gases because we have weather. So
Yeah, but doesn't a soda go flat?
Yeah,
that's the reason why it shouldn't go flat, because it should stay in the bottle.
It all proves flatness. See?
Maybe it goes up, it wears out, and comes back down, and then it's flat.
The CO2 is lighter than the fluid is in.
Look, you open the pop, you come back, and it's obviously and observably flat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Funny that, isn't it?
Too bad. It's too bad gravity's not a thing because you could just open your soda and come back, and it's actually more carbonated than it was before. That sucks.
Is CO2 does CO2 weigh more than a soda?
No, how'd you weigh it? How'd you weigh CO2, Virus? Do you put it on a scale like a
No,
bouncy ball?
no. Answer the question. Is CO2 weigh more than a soda?
I don't know. How'd you weigh it? Do you put it on a scale like a bouncy ball?
You're gonna avoid the question.
No, I'm asking you how I'd weigh it. How do I know how much it weighs if I don't know how to weigh it? Maybe I need a container.
It's a pretty common sense answer. If CO2 weighs more than a soda that it's in.
You know what you need to do? You know what you need to do to figure that out? Use its mass. Use its mass, Virus. Use its mass.
But CO2 does
his question. Hold on. His question is so dumb shit. Does CO2 weigh more than a soda? Well, how much CO2 you got? You dumb shit.
Enough to still have soda.
Your question was malformed. It's
No, it
idiotic. It's
wasn't.
non sequitur. You didn't finish the question. How
The
much
CO2?
CO2?
It doesn't matter. Enough to keep it a soda.
You're a dumb fuck.
With that very sweary episode conclusion, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's after show possible. Of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Also, below this video, there is a link to get £50 back for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!